I caught my fiance on a dating app while we are still living together.
Just checking out our options.
My fiance, 30 male, and I, 30 female, have been together a year and a half. We moved in with one another a few months ago. Lately, he's been a bit distant. By the way, this comes from Busted Him, Now What? And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I've been cheated on in the past and have been really insecure with his change in behavior. He has assured me he's just stressed about work and because his car broke down a couple weeks ago, and he hasn't gotten a replacement yet. Literal, psychoness of telling your partner who's been cheated on before, who's a little bit insecure, who comes to you and says, hey, I'm just, my past history.
Yeah.
Just feeling a little bit, anxious about your behavior change. And he's like, no, what? Me? You're crazy.
And he's actively on dating apps.
I couldn't let the nagging feeling go, so I did a little investigating. I didn't snoop in his phone or personal accounts, but I made a fake profile on a popular dating site and found him there. He was last online July 1st. That's pretty tough.
Did we get a heads up on what month it currently is?
No, but
Okay.
they've
It's
been
recent.
together a year and a half, so.
But yeah. Still not good.
I don't know what to do. How do I confront him? What do I say? Can our relationship be saved? Do I even want to save it? I feel like I'm a wreck right now. And there are some comments, but what do you have to say to OP?
You don't want to save it.
No, don't
He's
get married to a
cheating.
guy that was literally cheating.
Right.
This is perfect time. I mean, it's terrible.
But it's way better that you found out now.
Yeah, than after the wedding. Ooh. And I mean, I don't know how close you are to the wedding, but maybe you haven't paid for everything, or maybe you can get refunds on things. It's terrible, but maybe better timing than it could have been. We told you not to tell says, honestly, I would catfish him under your fake profile before confronting him so that he can't later claim he never talks to women on there. It was an old account. He was looking on behalf of a friend, etc.
I hate that whole thing
too.
of I wasn't actually talking. You made the account.
You have an account.
What
You
does
were
it
active
matter?
on it in July.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you were actively talking to women. You had the intention,
Right.
and that's enough, I think.
You made an account on a site that is meant for dating.
Yeah.
Whether you're just talking to them or going on dates or just having one is all the same.
OP says, thank you. I am considering trying to catfish him. I go to bed at 9, says, you don't need proof to leave him. This isn't a court case. Exactly. You know what you saw and you know why he was on there. I'm so sorry he did this to you. I agree. I don't think we need to go to all the trouble of catfishing.
Yeah.
I
think
you
it's
have
just going to
proof.
hurt you more in this
Yeah.
moment.
I don't think you need to do that.
No. If you want to.
I think honestly, your time should be spent finding a new place to live.
Yeah.
Hoping to Thrive says, don't marry someone who's still out there dating unless you're okay with an open relationship. If you confront him, he'll say it belongs to a friend. It was just a joke. I forgot I even had it. Test him out on the website and see if he's active or if it really does belong to someone else. But the thing is, all of these people are saying that he'll just lie. We already know that he's lying, you don't need to prove it. OP says, I think that's what I'm going to do. I texted an old high school friend he's never seen pics of to ask if I could use hers for my profile. Get off your high horse says, if you have to go through all that, come on, jump to the dump. You caught him.
Jump to the dump.
I agree. Jump to the dump.
Also, the fact that you didn't trust him enough that you made the profile in the
Exactly.
first place already showed that you knew that he was going to be up to something.
Exactly. I mean, I know that you had past experiences and maybe already felt a little more insecure than others might who haven't experienced that. But yeah, it was still to the extent where
Right.
you had to search it up. OP says he has never cheated on me before. That was an ex.
That you know of.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why I was so insecure about him acting weird that I did some digging around. Unread Amid says, don't listen to people saying you should catfish him. That's very immature. Print out the profile and ask him to explain. His reaction will tell you what you need to know. If someone is using his photo online, I've seen this happen on Catfish, he'll be shocked and horrified. If it's actually him, 95% chance, he'll be uncomfortable, evasive, or give you a BS excuse. Then you can leave him. OP says, I'm 100% sure it is him. All the interests and favorite food, movies, music, plus life aspirations match. I just don't know when he wrote the profile. Not recent pics. It was active in July.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It does not.
It doesn't matter. And all of those people who are like, I forgot to delete the account. That's not how those dating apps work. It's just not how they work.
Right. It wouldn't be actively showing saying that you're in July.
If you delete it, it will not be active. That's just how they work. So anyone who tells you, oh, I just didn't, like, no, they're
I think
lying.
it will stay active for like a little bit, like a week maybe.
Maybe a week.
But
maybe
they go
a week
away
at most.
quick.
Yeah. Like they will
They're not
go
going to
on
be pushing
active.
that account.
Yeah.
Like they know.
Edit 1 says, thank you, everyone. Further investigating is leading me to believe that this is an older profile. The pics aren't recent, and I can positively date 8 out of 9 of them to before our relationship. The last, I'm not sure in the date. I think that means a hacking, signing in to try and delete the thing scenarios is a little more plausible. I don't think that in itself is enough to break up over. What?
I think she's saying like, I think he just had the account like paused but the app deleted, and she thinks that he went back in to fully delete the account, and that showed the like day of activity, which like I have heard of happening before, but that is such a stretch to not tell your partner like hey, by the way, realize I still had this paused. You can even watch me download it and delete it.
Nah, because the thing is, you have to unpause. Like, so okay, when you delete the app, it pauses. And you go back in and you have to actually unpause it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's saying
I
the
think
stretch of the thing could be that he went back in,
Yeah.
unpaused it to delete it.
No, I know.
Like,
I agree with that. Like that you are reading what she is saying. I'm just telling her you're wrong.
It's a stretch, dude.
You're wrong. Because he would have to unpause it for you to have seen it, you know? So I guess it is time to either confront or catfish. I will post an update thread to let y'all know the outcome, whatever that may be. Edit 2 says, well, people here are kind of split on it, but I took the advice to catfish. I need to know for sure. You do. We'll update when and if anything comes of it. Edit 3 says, kind of major update. His profile is gone. I will be confronting him when he gets home from work. And there is an update 3 days later. What do you think he's going to say?
I think he's just going to deny.
I think he's going to, yeah. He's
It's
like, what are you
gone
talking
now.
about? It wasn't there. What? That must have been a glitch.
I don't even think in this case that when people are just like confronted with that kind of stuff, majority of times they're not smart enough to be like, going into this elaborate like, oh, it's because I unpaused it to delete it. Like, no, they just get flustered and then it comes out kind of thing.
It would have been really obvious. I think that the confrontation thing would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
3 days later, OP says, I posted a few days ago because I found my fiancé on an online dating site. I took Reddit's advice and catfished him. A few hours after I set the bait, I found that his profile had been deleted. When he came home from work, I showed him the screenshot and asked him what was up. Long story short, he was hanging out with his coworker, and the coworker was frustrated with figuring out how to navigate AME dating site. My fiancé signed into his old account, opened in 2013, try to help his friend figure it out. Apparently, a lot had changed on this particular site, and he realized that his knowledge on the site was too out of date. So we logged out, and that was it. Liar!
It's just the fact that if like there's that much trouble, why aren't you using the friend's account?
Literally, he's such a liar. Yeah.
And then also, why aren't you immediately saying, hey, I logged into this, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, if something comes up,
Oh my God.
here's what happened.
Absolutely go to my boyfriend and be like, hey, like my friend needed help. Is it okay if I just like do this to help her? I don't even think I would ever
I wouldn't even
log
get to
into
that point. I think I would
wouldn't.
fully be like, okay, pull up your account. Let's
I would
see
never
it.
log into a dating account to help someone with their dating account.
Also, how old are these people?
30.
You can figure it out.
You can figure it out.
Fully
You've grown up
understand
with
that you have
technology.
tech capabilities.
Yeah. A few days later, he saw in his email that he had gotten a message from a woman on the site, and he then deleted his account.
Oh my
You liar.
God.
He obviously couldn't show me his dating site account, but he did volunteer to show me his email account with all the alerts from the site. The only woman that had messaged him recently was clearly my fake account. He also realized when we were looking through his email that he had an unused old profile on another dating site. Huh? What? How did that get there?
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God,
Look
what?
I should download them all to make
just
sure.
to check.
Just to check. What if I made one in my sleep or something and I don't remember it?
I don't know. How'd that even get there?
That's crazy.
He signed in and deleted that one in front of me. I fessed up about catfishing him. He wasn't upset at all, said he understood completely considering my history. He's gaslighting you!
Don't believe this man.
He's literally going, yeah, no, I totally understand because you have a history.
Right.
So it makes sense that you would be insecure.
He's like, don't even worry. I'll forgive you
That's
for not
crazy.
trusting me.
Oh my God.
Ah!
He was more upset with himself for not realizing that his behavior would make me so insecure.
Oh my God.
You're a liar.
Ah!
I apologize for not trusting him and catfishing. He
No!
apologized for being so distant and not deleting his dating profiles ages ago. You freaking liar. This is not even, the thing is, he's not even a good liar.
He's not.
OP just really wants to believe him. And that's heartbreaking to
And
me.
I get it. I
get
get
it.
wanting to believe
You're about to
that
marry
the
this
person that
guy.
you're gonna marry is not lying to
But
you.
he is. He is.
But OP, you also have the history and trust your dang gut. It's usually right.
He offered an open phone, social media, email policy between us in case we ever stumble across another trust but verified type of situation. Top relevant comments. Oh, you're about to get read so bad. Shutter Speed says, what were you doing on this dating site, if you don't mind me asking?
Don't turn this around on her right now.
Stop it! She already said.
We already know.
I already said. OP says, I was looking for him. I have had a history of being cheated on, and even with a few years of therapy under my belt, I still have issues with implicit trust in my romantic partners. He had been acting off lately, and I thought he might be cheating. He was. He is.
I don't trust him.
So I signed up for the site and immediately searched for him by adjusting the search filters for his age, ethnicity, height, zodiac sign, etc. Dang. That's crazy.
That's like when people go like right next to the person they want and set it to like 0 miles.
That's genius. Also, usually for those added things, you have to pay extra. Like,
What?
I've never seen, like, on a dating site, like, for ethnicity, height. For age, it's free, but usually for, like, ethnicity
You mean to
and height.
search it or to have it on your profile?
To, like, have it, like, only show you those people. It's usually extra.
Some of them are pretty intricate.
Maybe it's for different. Yeah, maybe it's
Probably
just for
different. I don't know how
yeah.
AME works.
Yeah, I also don't know how that works.
But yeah, typically age is the big one.
Yeah.
And location.
I found him on the first page of results. That was the only reason I was on the dating site. So Just Here says, so have you found out why he was acting off if he wasn't cheating? OP says, yes. He found out that his harmful father, who he is in no contact with, has been diagnosed with a terminal illness and wants my fiancé to contact him. He's been spending a lot of time in his own head and a lot of alone time, trying to decide what he wants to do about it. Liar! He might, okay, he might have a father.
Be very true.
It
Could be very sad.
It could be true. But my point that he's lying about is that he's spending a lot of time in his own head trying to decide. A liar!
He's spending a lot of time in other women's head on those dating apps.
This could be the reason why he started cheating, but
That's what I
it's not the only
immediately
reason.
thought.
Yeah, he's probably like, oh wow, I'm having all these thoughts. He's self-sabotaging. I'm sure that's like the reason why, but he's still lying. He created the account with the plan to cheat. When he got the message, he balked and deleted the account. The fantasy of cheating was more appealing than the reality. Why are you booing? Why are you booing? They're right.
He's spitting facts.
They're right.
Upvote that man.
Upvote
or
him
woman.
or person. Please,
Upvote the
upvote
person.
them. Come on. OP says he created the account in 2013. Confirmed via email history. He was single when he created it.
I don't care when he created it. He was using it.
Why are we forgetting that it was last active in July?
Why are we forgetting that he had 2?
2. Yes, he had 2. Pythiastic says, life is good, but you're so insecure.
Oh my
You can't
God.
trust your boyfriend enough to have an adult conversation about this and instead go straight to catfishing? Why are we blaming this girl? Why are we blaming her? We should be blaming her for trusting him more. Stop trusting him.
Why are all of you guys trusting men
I don't
like
understand.
this?
This is not the Reddit I know. The Reddit I know
Reddit
would
I
say
know-
this is a freaking liar.
The Reddit I know would witch hunt immediately.
They would find his other profiles.
Yeah.
You're not the Reddit I know. Why are you so forgiving?
Upvote these people.
I not only give this relationship 6 months tops, unless you start handling problems in a healthy
Oh my
way.
God. Like how he handled the problem that he found out from his no contact father that he was passing and didn't tell you and just started getting into his head and not talking to you and stressing you out.
Also didn't tell her. Yeah, one,
That's real healthy communication.
literally didn't tell you about this. He's about to marry you and didn't tell you about
Right.
this.
And you're out here being like, babe, what's wrong? Like, you just seem really off lately. I want to help.
He freaking blamed you. Again, he said, he was like, oh, nothing. And you're like, what's going on? He was like, nothing.
He was like, I haven't had a car for a while.
Yeah, come on. This kind of situation will keep happening. OP says, we've already been together a year and a half and have picked a wedding date.
A year and a half is nothing.
It's nothing. RRRZZZ says, OP, maybe marriage at a time when trust and communication needs to be rebuilt is not a great idea. You both need time to develop a way to communicate and trust each other. The situation can be way more intense when married. What if he decides snooping is a bad quality? What if you realize you really can't trust him? OP says, our wedding date isn't until 2020. Okay, so this was probably 2019.
And shout out, probably didn't get married that year like they planned.
Probably didn't
and not
get
because
married.
of this.
Probably. Yeah, the universe said, you're not getting married.
Yeah, the whole
I'm
vid
saving you,
happened
girl.
because their universe was like, these two can't get
They
married.
cannot. We've got plenty of time to work things through.
And you'll have even more.
You sure do.
You don't even know it yet.
Dang, this is so weird reading stories like this where you're like, no, stop.
Wait.
And this is replying to a deleted comment. Sorry, I don't think you can speak for all men. My fiancé has been super understanding of the situation. He wants to work through it. He's not upset with me in the slightest.
Upset at you for what?
I wonder why.
What did you do?
Nothing. Sorry that two people choosing to stay together and work through things even when mistakes were made is so upsetting to you.
Oh my God, girl. You're gonna look back on this the next time he does it and you're gonna feel a little silly. And listen, I've been there. We've felt a little silly before.
I've never felt so gaslit by a story. This is crazy. MDP says, sweet baby Lord Jesus, a lot of people on this thread need therapy. OP, save your sanity and delete these threads. OP says, and I thought I was the crazy, insecure, untrusting one, LOL. But seriously, there were a few people in my original OP and private messages who were very helpful and just plain awesome who asked for updates. I'll leave this thread up for them. At the end of the day, I 100% believe that my fiancé has been faithful and that our relationship is now stronger for the experience. So I'm okay with letting the grumpy McGrumpersons continue to whine about how much of a dog he is. So maybe they're just not including those comments. They must be there.
And you know what? I'll take the role of Grumpy McGrumperson.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I will wear that crown.
With pride. And how stupid I am for believing him. Or that I'm an insane piece of stalker trash and whatnot. By the way, I believe that you guys can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story, but oh my goodness gracious.
And listen, now we're at the point she's doing it.
She's doing it.
Staying
She's getting
in it.
married.
And,
well, she
and okay,
might not have.
You're about to have so much time to think.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to check after this if we have an update.
I need to know.
During the vid.
I need to know if their relationship was able to test like
That
this-
hard
yeah, to
before
test
marriage?
that hard, because you're about to test harder than you've ever tested before, and I don't believe in you, but maybe you made it through.
And then it gets back to like, okay, and maybe I'm just putting my past experiences into her, and maybe it'll work out. And for you, girl, I hope it does.
I don't have
I'm
these past
ye of
experiences,
little faith.
and I have no faith. I have no bias on this. I just don't have faith in this relationship. OP says, replying to another deleted comment, I did come here looking for advice. That was what my entire OP was about. I took the advice to catfish him. That wasn't my advice. That wasn't our advice, to be clear. So then the advice to confront him. After following that advice, the fact that he did not fall for the catfishing, that he deleted the account on his own accord, listening to his explanation, hearing the sincerity in his voice, recognizing his attempts to make sure no misunderstanding like this happens again, seeing the hurt in his eyes because he recognized how upset I had been, his willingness to be open with his phone and email going forward, and a host of other things, I do not believe he was cheating on me. It is as simple as that. I believe him. I think you're projecting a lot here, especially with that comment about getting pregnant. And I don't know what that comment said, downvoted comment. Or a deleted comment. But that's the end of the story. So we have no idea what happens next. Maybe there's an update we can find, but I don't have a lot of hope, seeing as this was posted before 2020.
I just want to know if the wedding happened or not in 2020. Like, it could have been like a January, February wedding.
I kind of think, because if there is no post, either they're outrageously happy, they broke up, and now they have nothing more to update about.
But those would be the two options.
My fiance's coworker tried to wear white to our wedding. Too bad I'm unbothered.
Get a bridesmaid, glass of red wine. Whoops.
This is petty and stupid. I would have liked to think I'm a bigger person than this, but it seems it's not the case. I, early 30s female, am marrying my fiance this week, early 30s male. He's the most wonderful and amazing person in the universe, but he's also extremely oblivious, socially awkward, probably on the autism spectrum. Boy just cannot pick a hint. By the way, this comes from someone, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my fiance works with a relatively small group of people, and they get along great. They usually go for after-office drinks one Friday a month. Since we moved across the country a couple of years ago, we haven't made a lot of new friends. So basically, these coworkers are currently my fiance's closest group of friends. There's one girl in this group, let's call her Daisy, late 30s, who has an evident massive crush on my fiance. I must say, I don't blame her. My fiance is in tech and makes good money, wicked smart.
Wicked
Say it like
Wicked
Boston.
smart.
He's wicked
Tall,
smart.
hot, nice, funny, interesting, and
Oh,
sweet.
now you're Jersey.
Yeah,
Now
I
you're
went
Long
Jersey.
Island.
How do you like them
You
apples?
switched to Long Island.
I couldn't figure out how to sustain Boston. I've been part of a few of their get-togethers, and this woman acts like a teen girl with him. She giggles and literally twirls her hair. Whenever she laughs, she puts her hand on his arm, once even his knee. When I pointed it out, he said he hadn't realized, then made a face like, gross, and said he'd make sure to sit away from her. Before anyone does the Reddit thing, no, he's not cheating on me, or into her, or secretly encouraging it. We both work from home. We spend all day together every day. I have full access to his phone and accounts, and I'm friends with some of the other people who join those months after office drinks. They never met without several other people joining, etc. My fiance is also extremely loyal. He doesn't do the typical things like following random women on Instagram. He always is talking about me, doesn't like attention or strangers touching him. I actually saw him lean away when she sat next to him and straight up pushed away or moved away when she touched his knee. Additionally, he adores me. I even feel silly having to justify his loyalty, but I know how Reddit is. This man bakes me cookies and brushes my hair when I'm sad. He's a
can bake
saint.
you cookies there.
Our wedding is very soon. It'll be a small, intimate thing, only 35 people or so. Dang. We have a few gluten-intolerant guests, including Daisy. So we're doing a cake for everyone and special gluten-free cupcakes for these guests. We found a very nice boutique bakery that makes super tasty and safe gluten-free cupcakes. Literally the best in the province. One of my gluten-intolerant friends said, One of our guests has proper celiacs, and she needs it to be like one molecule and I end up in the hospital levels of safe, so we're getting all cupcakes for our gluten-free guests there. This place, however, only has 2 cupcake flavors, chocolate or caramel. We asked each guest which flavor they prefer, and they all said chocolate, except for Daisy, who asked for caramel. She doesn't like chocolate and never eats it. I know she's not allergic or intolerant. I checked and got a list of all her allergies when we confirmed her meal for our joint bachelor and bachelorette party. I was about to place the order when I received a text. Long story short, I found out that Daisy was planning on wearing white to the wedding, and her +1 friend, another girl, was going to wear beige. I went to tell my fiance, and he said, "What an effing butt hat," and nipped that in the bud immediately. He straight up told them it was super rude and that if they showed up wearing white, beige, cream, ivory, bone, super light pastels, very light gray, or any other complicated way of saying white, they would not be let in. Props to your husband or fiance. Daisy complained that it was just a white blouse. I'll wear peach pants. And he told her no white at all, of any shade, anywhere. You're being rude to even consider it. The dress code is wear whatever you want, except white. You can show up in flip-flops if you want. Why would you want to wear the one thing that's not allowed?
Because she wants to show up and say, "Oh my God, I thought this was my wedding."
What?
You sure you're not having second thoughts, OP? I'm ready to step in.
I object.
Yeah.
She pouted and said her +1 was sad because she only looks good in light beige.
Boo-hoo.
But all right. I'm sorry, if you only look good in light
got
beige,
some other problems
you're
going on.
ugly. He considered uninviting her, but I told him not to do it. Why? Let's just get her out of there. Of the 35 people, do we really want the girl that flirts with your husband?
You're a little too unbothered.
Yeah. Or it could cause drama with the rest of the friend group. We'll make sure the guard at the gate won't let her in if she's wearing anything too light. And my friends all volunteered to shower her in red wine if she dares.
That's what I said.
I'm also overall a very chill person. If she actually showed up wearing white, I'd laugh my butt off. She'd be shaming herself in public. Anyways, I went back to placing the cupcake order and just asked for all chocolate cupcakes. Take that, lady. I guess it just slipped my mind to order a caramel one.
Oops.
Oops. Oh, yeah. Oops.
Oops.
That's what it says. Ah, well, who doesn't love chocolate anyway?
Riley.
Yeah, Riley.
A couple of my other friends, too.
OP on Daisy being a distraction from her special day. Yeah, I'm fully calm regarding that. The nicest thing about micro weddings is that you know almost everyone there is ready to unalive or pass away for you. Like other than this specific group of friends from my fiance, the other friends that are having to fly in from across the country have been our friends for an average of 20 plus years. If Daisy tries some crap, I fully believe someone will pick her up by the scruff and punt her to the curb. As for setting firmer boundaries, I fully trust my fiance. He doesn't reply to her texts or anything, just communicates with her in a group setting. I actually want to kind of see her try and get destroyed. LMAO, my fiance has no chill when someone really crosses the line. He's a big Viking-looking metalhead. He's scary when he's mad. LMAO. And there is an update, folks. To the point, our wedding day was indeed the best of my life. I'm so excited to be a wife to my wonderful husband and start this new stage together. I know y'all didn't come here to hear me gush about friends and family being brought together to celebrate our love, or the adoration in my groom's eyes when he saw me walking down the aisle, or the funny anecdotes. I'll get to that closer to the end. Y'all are here for drama.
Yeah, we are.
Sadly, I have no drama to report.
Never mind.
Daisy and her beige-loving +1 dressed perfectly appropriately in blue, our wedding theme's color. Daisy actually even made an amazing IG reel that's the only piece of footage that managed to capture my husband's face when he saw me come in. My big, beautiful Viking suddenly holding back tears and staring right at me like nothing else in the universe existed. I thought I'd have to only rely on my memory of that face forever. But what do you know? Now I can catch a quick glimpse of it whenever I want for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you can.
So thank you, Daisy, for having such a crush on my husband that you recorded exactly what I would have recorded myself if I'd been able.
Wait, yeah, I totally didn't think about the fact that she was recording the husband because she's in love with your husband.
I forgot about that.
And just caught in that moment all his love for you
for
instead.
another person. Oof. You truly have impeccable taste in men. Here's the part that'll disappoint you the most. Regarding the cupcakes, My dad was in charge of bringing stuff to the venue the morning of, and he forgot to tell the staff what was in the bag. The cupcakes sat in the heat outside the fridge for 5 hours.
Eee.
Rough.
Not the cupcakes.
Dad, Papa, why'd you do that?
Papa.
We ended up having to trash them. That's a good use of $30. But luckily for our gluten intolerant guests, they had passion fruit parfaits available,
Yum.
which were praised to high heavens. So Daisy got some amazing dessert in the end, though her seat was still pretty terrible, if that makes you feel better. Truth be told, I don't mind. That's what I get for attempting to get revenge. Daisy continued to be her socially unaware self. Maybe it's because I was in good spirits, but I don't mind at all. She got too close, front and center for the group pics, literally leaning over my dad in one of them, lol. Made comments about how very single she was all night long, and at one point joked to please toss the bouquet her way. Same as many other girls attending did. She didn't get to catch it, though.
You're like, honey, desperation is not pretty on you either.
Yeah, OP's like, she's right behind her, and OP's like,
She's running.
Yeah. We were having that part of our wedding at a craft brewery, very large place, capacity for some 500 people, and there must have been about 250 in that night. It was, after all, a Thursday. I know, who gets married on a Thursday? People who save tens of thousands in one decision. That's who.
Smart.
Smart move. We had the back patio reserved for a private party, and when we came in, they rang a bell, and all the strangers there were clapping and hollering for us as we walked through. So at the end, when I went to toss the bouquet, we ran back all across the brewery again, telling all single women they were invited to come to the toss. I thought maybe a couple would join up. What do you know? There were no less than 100 people suddenly in for the bouquet toss. A random girl caught it. We took pictures together. It was a lot of fun.
Cute.
Some more details about the wedding. Lunch was great. Everyone got to eat whatever they wanted since the restaurant let us order a la carte. We got to toast. The cake was refrigerated, thank God.
Woo!
And it tasted great. It's in my freezer right now. I'm getting a slice after typing this. Consequences be damned. The favors, surprisingly, were the best part of the wedding. Everyone was so excited about them. They were celestial planispheres. The paper flowers were handmade. We handmade with my husband for the centerpieces were also very popular, and the guests took them all home. Then that night, we got a terrace suite at an amazing hotel with a gorgeous view of the city and a hot tub. It would have been very romantic to spend all the night on the terrace, seeing the city lights, making love in the hot tub. You can get diseases doing that.
We'll read the next sentence.
Except I caught stomach flu a couple of days before the wedding, and I'm still sick. LOL.
I thought that was going to be like, except I
Yeah.
started throwing up on him right then and
No,
there.
you can get like UTIs or something. Thankfully, nothing terribly urgent. I'll go to the hospital tonight. I'm much better now. Didn't hamper my enjoyment of the day. Absolutely everything was perfect. Also didn't hamper our ability to consummate the marriage with a quickie. Okay. That's how you know it's real love. Slept soundly that night. Also, making use of this update to answer some FAQ. 1, why would you ever invite Daisy? Sounds like neither one of you likes her. And OP already said. But as I explained, my husband is very shy, introverted, and has a hard time making friends. Since we moved here, he lost contact with almost all his friends from our hometown. This group is all the team members of his department at work. Singling out just Daisy would have invited gossip, drama, and people taking sides. There was no outright good reason not to invite Daisy. She technically didn't do anything wrong.
I could name a couple things.
I could name maybe a few. Why would I make myself look like a crazy, jealous witch and jeopardize my husband's new friend group, making it awkward for everyone? I'm not insecure in my relationship. I didn't need Daisy uninvited. And yes, my husband offered to uninvite her, but only because he thought I'd want her uninvited for asking if she could wear white. He did so because he's a good partner who prioritizes my feelings over the potential consequences that drama would have brought. 2, okay, but why give her a +1? Everyone got one. We're not Americans, so the typical rules don't apply to +1s. But also, we had a weird wedding in the sense that it was more like a courthouse wedding and then a restaurant for lunch and a bar at night. We're using a government program that opens a courthouse and a beautiful landmark in the city. Think Park Museum Theater. So we asked for no gifts and for people to pay for their own food instead, as a cash registry of sorts. The +1s didn't cost us anything. The restaurant we used also was operating like a normal restaurant, so we didn't pay ahead of time. Everyone ordered what they wanted on the spot. 3. You said your fiancé and you work from home, but that he goes for after-office drinks once a month. What gives? As with pretty much every large, locally based, mostly remote company, there's an optional office space in town. They work there for one Friday a month and then go for drinks to a nearby bar. You can also call them after-office drinks if you work from home, you know. By the way, you can call us from home and listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I get the drama thing.
I think OP handled this great.
This was handled lovely.
Yeah, man.
Happy wife, happy life.
And that's what I'm always saying. And I've always said it. If he jerks away, he knows she's touching him. That means he secretly wants to have her too.
What?
This is the stupidest one yet. Yes, he knows he got touched, but didn't know what it implied until I mentioned it. Reading comprehension has really gone down the drain. 5, something, you're toxic and you'll get divorced and your husband should run and I'll laugh on your grave. Sorry, can't hear you over the sound of my perfect life. So yeah, boring update for you. Amazing update for me, except for the stomach flu bit. Very happy with how everything turned out, even if my revenge went unexecuted. Sorry, I don't have more drama to share, but well, the best laid plans of mice and men.
My fiance's mom looks exactly like me, and everyone thinks it's cute except me.
Ooh, maybe you should do a DNA check before you get married.
I, 24 female, have been with my fiance, 28 male, for the past 5 years, and engaged for the past year. He is the love of my life, and we get along very well. He's always had a strange adoration for his mother. He usually talks about how smart, how kind, and how funny she is. I always thought it was sweet because I don't have a good relationship with my mother. He often said I have the same personality type as his mother too. We're both INTPs. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Freud. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Carly's boyfriend, Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. During our whole relationship, I hadn't met his family. We live in Germany, and they're in the US. We're currently visiting them now. When I met her, I really liked her. She's 64, so I didn't notice our resemblance at first. But when I looked at her wedding photos with my fiance's father, I realized I really look like I could be her daughter. Even my fiance's father pointed it out.
I don't like this. That's
Mom,
weird.
pick me up. I'm scared. We both have curly ginger hair and green eyes, and we both have bangs. We are similar height and build. It's so eerie.
Start ringing the bell. Start ringing the Oedipus.
If you compare a photo of her in her youth with me, we look like we could be sisters. His mother is also a fan of red lipstick. Guess what color the lipsticks he buys me are? Red.
Ding, 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 Oedipus, Oedipus. Ah, ah, ah.
I asked a few friends what they thought, and they said this obviously can't be a coincidence. I decided to speak with him before bed yesterday and pointed out how similar I was to his mother. He shrugged and said people usually choose partners who are similar to their parents. I didn't believe him, but he showed me some articles on Google. I tried to let it go today, but I met some more of his relatives, and everyone is talking about how his mother and I look like we're related. His mother finds this whole thing cute and has said, my son misses me so much when he's in Germany that he found my look-alike.
That's so wrong and so bad. If no one's calling this out and everyone's like, that's cute, get out.
How do I approach a conversation with him about this again? Or am I just overreacting and should I let it go? I would love some advice. We have some comments. Commenter 1 says, LMAO, change your appearance and update us. OP says, I am. I will be using some temporary dye on my hair. Commenter 2 says, what color are you going for? I feel like dark would be better because you're ginger, so it's a more drastic change than blonde, but if you wanted to go back, it might ruin the color maybe. OP says, I've got a few bottles of brown root spray. It's dark brown. I'm gonna try it out after I wash my hair. Another commenter says, Sigmund Freud has entered the chat. Another commenter says, do you feel like you have a mothering role in the relationship? OP says, I don't think so. He works more hours than me and earns more, so he pays for most of our expenses. I handle most of the housework and cooking. But isn't that traditionally the mother role? Cooking and cleaning. Supreme Cultist says, I think you are reading too much into it. I would not stress over it until he calls you mommy during spicy sleep. OP says, you're not gonna like what I'm about to tell you.
What?
Dirty Question 69 says, does he call you mommy in the bedroom? OP
No!
says sometimes.
No!
OP
No!
says sometimes. Edit. A commenter told me to add this here. I didn't want to earlier because it's a bit vulgar, but he does call me mommy in bed sometimes. Update 6 days later. Most of the advice told me to change my appearance, which is what I did. I managed to find a very nice wig. It has straight brown hair, and his sister-in-law installed it for me. I've had it on for 3 days now, and my fiance hates it.
Again, he likes your natural looks.
He's pissed at his sister-in-law for installing it too. I made sure it was a brown that suited me because I am very pale, and everyone has complimented it except him. Even his mother said it was beautiful. My fiance keeps saying it doesn't suit my complexion and that my ginger hair is much better. I made up a lie and told him that my hair couldn't deal with the water in the US. Germany has hard water, but the city my fiance's family lives in has even harder water, miraculously. So I said my scalp was irritated. He bought a water filter. He refused to have spicy sleep with me because I didn't look like myself to him. I also stopped wearing the red lipstick. I wore a pink one instead. And all he did was ask if I had a new favorite. I told him that red was his favorite, not mine, and he agreed with that. Yesterday, I removed the wig so I could wash my hair, and he walked in on me installing it again. He said that I shouldn't put it back on because it looked terrible, and I rolled my eyes and laughed at him. After that, we had a conversation. He said that I looked so much better as a ginger and that he wanted to have spicy sleep because we hadn't done it in a few days because of the wig. I told him I didn't know how my hair attached to a net prevented us from being intimate. I then asked him why he called me mommy in bed. Disclaimer, I do not enjoy being called mommy in bed, but I dealt with it because I love him. He gave me the same response as usual and said it was a spicy hobby. I said I didn't like it, and he said that he wouldn't do it anymore, but was disappointed because as his partner, I should be supportive of his spicy hobbies. I said that I'd support others, but not this one. I then told him I found it extremely uncomfortable that I look exactly like his mother. I said I'd understand if we were both gingers, but we look so similar, people have mistaken us for being mother and daughter. He immediately got defensive and said that it was just a coincidence. I told him that with the mommy spicy hobby, it was starting to look intentional. He then finally came clean.
What the heck does that mean?
He said that he did decide to get to know me because I look like his mother.
Oh no.
He said that he first took an interest in me, non-romantic, because the resemblance was uncanny.
Oh, so he's known this the entire time and called you mommy in the bedroom.
And he was intrigued by it.
Ah.
Then he said he fell in love with my personality, and that's why he decided to ask me out. So he wouldn't have asked me out solely based on my resemblance to his mother.
But that's what piqued his interest.
I asked about the red lipstick, and he said that he liked red lipstick and had asked his mother for recommendation, so I guess that checks out. I then asked about him steering me towards hobbies that his mother has. I like to crochet and bake because he first introduced me to those hobbies, and I found out those are his mother's main hobbies. He said that baking and crocheting are nurturing hobbies, and he wanted a nurturing partner. Since mothers are usually very nurturing, he wanted a partner with his mother's qualities. And about the wig, he just said he preferred my natural hair. I honestly don't know how to feel about all of this. On one hand, this is weird as F. On the other hand, his explanations kind of do make sense. I saw a comment on my old post from a ginger saying that she's dated a lot of men with ginger mothers, so I don't know if this means that this is normal or extremely abnormal. He's an amazing and loving partner outside of this, so I'm thinking of getting us couples counseling and postponing our wedding plans. By the way, you never have to postpone your plans to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. Got a little bit more.
The cat's out of the bag.
He wants his mommy.
So, and again, I don't want to shame anybody. That's his thing. For you, OP, very weird.
It's weird.
For a lot of people, it's weird.
I'm not sure how more people were not calling that weird.
So, I think definitely get some counseling for yourselves. I think delaying the wedding is 100% a good thing. If people were like, hey, you look like Keon's mom, or you look like Keon's sister, I'd be like, stop that. Weird.
Yeah, because he's not even saying that it's weird.
Yeah.
One good thing that has come out of this is that at least I know I look amazing with brown hair too. I would like some more advice and thoughts on this. I am still in the US with his family, and I still have my wig on. Commenter says, how are you not on the first plane back to Germany? That is so creepy. OP says, I looked at tickets and they're very expensive. I'm gonna call the airline to see if my existing ticket can be brought forward. That commenter replies again, I'm not sure if this will be the case with international flights, but you can go to the airport and see if they can put you on a standby, so if someone cancels, you can get on the next flight back. Heck, call the closest German embassy and ask for help. You are trapped in a harmful situation. There's probably protocol for this. OP says, I'll see if I can get on standby. My fiance paid for my original ticket, so the money loss is his problem. I haven't been threatened physically or mistreated, except some gaslighting, I guess. So I don't think the embassy would care. Edit, I'm currently looking for a flight back to Germany. My narc mom is paying for my tickets. So I've just opened a whole new can of worms, but I'll be paying her back as soon as I get my next paycheck. I've packed up most of my things. Wish me luck on finding a direct flight. We've got some final comments.
Is your fiance still your fiance, or
I think that's what we're about to find out.
Are you ending it?
Michael 78900 says, did you end up breaking up with the boyfriend, or what's gonna happen? OP says, I told him that I'm going back to Germany so I can have time to think. I'm probably gonna dump him when he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Again,
feel
didn't
like
want to
you're
shame
too
anything,
far.
but that's
Yeah.
crazy. My fiance gave me a him or the cat ultimatum, but he didn't expect my answer.
The cat, obviously.
Duh. To make a long story short, when I was 17, my best friend passed away due to an accident, and my pet-hating parents allowed me to get a cat, as she was my only friend. I have autism and have always struggled making friends, and they assumed I would find pet care too difficult and want to give her up quick. They were wrong, and 12 years later, we are still the closest pair of friends ever. Aw. By the way, this comes from user 12-year kitty throwaway, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, unfortunately. We only know what we do, so please let us know what you do in the comments. As OP says, I consider her closer than all of my friends. And they all know this too. She has gotten me through so much, and I know she loves me back, as she shows all the signs cats do when they love you. Sometimes I think she may love me more than I love her, jokingly. I have never had any issues with her being bad or anything since we got her. She has multiple scratching posts and a cat tree, so she never scratches furniture. I think she also knows I do not like it, so that is why as well. She has toys, 3 litter boxes I change regularly, and etc. 3?
Yeah, why 3? That's excessive. Why would they need that many?
Or, is it just a precaution? I don't know.
Sure.
Not to brag, but I think I am an awesome cat owner. I met my fiancé 3 years ago. She did not care for him at first, but she started to warm up to him. He moved in about half a year ago, and that is when she started acting out, but only against him. Your best friend's getting jealous.
Yeah.
She peed on all his stuff, his side of the bed, and scratched his pillow only. We even switched the pillows to test it, and she chose the one on his side every time.
That's actually so funny. No, I'm only going to scratch this one.
Your cat is plotting to just ruin this relationship, and that's A-okay, right?
Hilarious.
We also switched the places we kept our clothes and items in. She never failed to choose the stuff to scratch and pee on, and never touched mine. I did not know what happened. I went to the vet about the pee in case of a UTI, and they said she was perfectly healthy. At first, my fiancé found it comedic, as did I. We thought it was some sick coincidence, but eventually it got too much to be some funny coincidence, and he started to not like her in the slightest. He would come home from work and ask if she was in the bedroom. I would say, yeah, and he would groan and sit in the living room until she left. Wow. He would make fake hissing noises at her whenever she was in the spot that he wanted to take. He would make jokes about calling animal control and claim she was a violent stray cat. Alright, not the right way to go about that.
I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, doing stuff like that. He never physically hurt her, thank goodness. He refuses to even squish ants and is vegetarian due to moral reasons. But he definitely mentally messed with her. Last week, though, he came home with an ultimatum. Him or my bestest friend for the last 12 years, my cat. I love him so much. He's the only person I have been with who has actually attempted to understand my autism and who I have been able to be me, even without masking or pretending. Even my therapist has had good things to say about him. He helped me get through my dad's passing from the vid. He helped me get through the pandemic in general, as I am a slight hypochondriac as well. But, big but, I can never just give up my cat. I love her just as much as I love him, as I explained earlier. The one thing he has not seemed to get, despite understanding everything else about me, is how much she means to me. She does not do those things to anyone else. I had a friend stay with me for a bit under a year some years ago, and my cat did not once do anything to her. They got along very well, in fact. I just really do not know what to do, as I want both my cat and my fiancé, but he does not want her. And there's an edit. I generally thought it was implied with me talking in past tense, but he does not do those things to her anymore, like hiss at her or chase her. I got him to stop. Good. The most he will do is boot her from places like many cat owners do, or just leave the room when she comes in. He has stopped playing games with friends simply because she just walked in. But I think that it is better than chasing her and hissing at her. Also, I'm not asking if I should get rid of the cat. I will never get rid of her. I'm asking what I should do about the ultimatum, and what I should do about my fiancé. Getting rid of her is not an option, and we have an update. Savannah?
I mean, obviously you're not going to get rid of the cat, which I wouldn't either. It does cause some strain on your relationship, though. So, like, obviously you have to figure out some sort of compromise here. And I would think just maybe limiting, the cat to, like, a couple rooms, like, maybe not the bedroom anymore. Like, so, because that's where all the clothes are, and, I would assume.
I was going to say, because the clothes thing, I feel like you could just put it, like, in a drawer or put it in, like, in a closet. That's one thing. But it's always his side of the bed, his pillow. If that's where it's coming down to, you do need to have a compromise. Unless if, that's the ultimatum of, like, it's me or the cat. You'd be like, it's the cat, dude. Bye. But I don't think you want your fiancé to leave. Because he sounds, other than this fight between between him and the cat, he seems great. I don't know.
Yeah. My idea is to just, like, maybe not let the cat in the bedroom anymore, unless that's, like, where all of its stuff is. But obviously you can move its stuff to, like, whatever. But
it's very weird. You have 3 litter boxes for this cat, and she still decides to pee on everything of his.
Yeah. That's purposeful.
Oh, 100%. But we have an update. My fiancé is a paramedic. He works 4 days on and 3 days off, and he just got back this afternoon, so I was able to talk to him in time. I am really bad with communication, but I sat my fiancé down and explained how important both him and my cat are to me. I will not go in depth, as that will take a while, but he admitted he underestimated my bond with her. How does he underestimate a bond that you've had with your pet for 12 years?
Yeah, I feel like if it was, like, maybe, like, a year or 2, I can understand. But, like, 12 years, obviously, this cat's going nowhere.
Yeah. He also admitted he lashed out with the ultimatum and does not expect me to give up my cat under any circumstance. But he does not want to come up with some schedule. So she will not be allowed in the bedroom without some sort of supervision. There we go.
Boom! Called it!
We're doing a compromise. Great. We are also going to replace the closet doors with something she cannot push open with her head. Great. And that is how she resorted to finding his stuff once we hit it. He's an active Reddit user, and somewhere along the line, I let my post slip, and after some convincing, I showed him. He was not upset, and he appreciated both comments on his side and on my side. I did not even realize people were siding with people. I assumed everyone was neutral, but I guess it was obvious, and I missed it. As for the abuse, he never hurt her, aside from being a wiener for a while, until I stopped him. He did not abuse my cat. I understand where the comments are coming from 100%, and obviously, on some dumb Reddit post, I cannot convince anyone, because, like I said in a comment, tale as old as time, saying he would never hurt anyone about a man. But rest assured, after our conversation, I know he would not hurt my cat. I talked to the vet over the phone about this, and it is definitely just jealousy on my cat's part. That's crazy.
Yeah. Jealousy on your cat's part is so funny.
I want to clear up the misconception in the comments that I let her ruin his stuff for 6 months straight. No, I have taken an active interest in stopping her. After knowing someone, cat or human, for 12 years, you learn their hates, their loves, their likes, and dislikes. She hates leashes and specifically walks. Whenever she does bad, I put the leash on her as a warning. That's funny. You could probably see her cat, like grumpy cat.
We're going for a walk now.
Yeah. Another offense, full-blown walk. Just trying to see someone force their cat to come out.
Right?
The leash.
It's just like dragging you like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not going to move.
I have walked her at 3 a.m. just to prove to her I am serious.
Wow.
Her attacking his stuff stopped more and more, and now it happens maybe once or twice a month. Oh, that's great. Obviously, it happening at all is bad, but a decrease from nearly every day to rarely happening at all is improvement. Another thing I wanted to mention was the comments about how she is just a cat. Cats are not family, people over cats, etc. I don't agree with that.
I don't at all.
Yeah. I understand why many do not see their pets as family, but I do, as do I. My cat was all I had for a while. My parents and I went no communication from 2014 to 2016. I was unable to work and was on disability, so I did not get out. I did not have friends. All I had was my furry friend. She's my family the same way that if I had a kid, it would be my family. My fiancé and I have both agreed on no kids. I do not think I could handle a human with my autism, and it is a fear of mine and I will not willing to face. And he grew up with many young siblings, so he does not like kids. My cat and I have been through more than most young couples in college have been through. To put it in perspective, cat cancer scares, injuries on both of our parts. We have watched shows together, though she may not understand it. All in all, she is my family. And by the way, you could be in our family by listening to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to your favorite podcast app such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or whatever that may be, and search up OK Storytime. Join the family. Do it, or else.
You're all welcome.
There's a little bit left here. I think this is great. You're finding a compromise for both you, your fiance, and your cat. Any other takes, Savannah, before we finish up the story?
I mean, ultimately, I think you guys figured it out. Obviously, it's not 100% solved, but it's way better than, every single day, obviously. I think you've done a lot of work, and also, good for you for sticking with it, because I know some people are like, ugh, too hard. And then it's just then people get lazy and then nothing ever happens. So good for you for coming up with a plan and sticking to it. And now you see, with hard work and dedication, things can happen.
Yeah, amazing. Let's go ahead and finish up the story. Finally, my fiancé pointed out, and I agreed, that many people failed to take my autism into account in my post. I do not mean that in a treat me better, I am disabled kind of way, but autism does shape how you interpret things, act, feel, etc. And I'm not neurotypical, and my fiancé knows it. He has known it from the start. That also affects how I get along with people, and as some pointed out, many people with autism find connecting with people without autism to be very difficult, and often find comfort and connection to and with in animals. That is how I am with my cat, and my fiancé has known this from the start. Well, if your fiancé has known this from the start, I think the ultimatum definitely, and I think he said it too, he's like, I didn't mean it, but don't say things like that, because that could definitely put your relationship on the line.
For sure. And obviously that made a big enough reaction in her that she is like, now I need advice and I need to speak up and now I have an issue, you know, with all of that. Like, I feel like if he didn't say that, then there wouldn't have been this whole thing. But also good for him for, you know, saying his part in it, because obviously you don't want to like just go on and just be like, yeah, this is annoying, but I'm afraid to say anything or whatever. Like, that's not good. So good for Fiancé for speaking his mind, good for OP for speaking her mind, and
Good for that cat for speaking their mind.
yeah, good for the cat for doing whatever it wants to do.
My mother-in-law refused to attend our wedding unless it met her standards.
Because it's actually her wedding.
I, female 24, am planning a wedding with my fiance, male 27. We've been in a long-distance relationship for 2 years and are planning to get married next year. My parents aren't supportive, but his mom isn't. It's not because she dislikes me, but because she's afraid the wedding won't be grand enough and that she'll be embarrassed. By the way, this comes from Oxytoxic. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, she wants a big wedding and insists on inviting important people from our office, which isn't what my fiance and I want, especially since we're still in junior positions. She told us to postpone the wedding until we're 30 and can afford something more extravagant. If we still can't do it by then she wants us to get married abroad. She wants you to get married to another woman?
What's up with that?
To avoid embarrassment on her part. My fiance has explained our plans and expressed how much he wishes she could be more understanding. But this has been a recurring pattern in his family. His mother often acts as if the world revolves around her. She doesn't take no for an answer. Now she's saying she won't come and neither will her side of the family if we move forward with our current plan. My fiance, my family, and I are all okay with moving forward, but deep down, we both want her there. We've done everything we could to involve her, but she insists it has to be done her way. I find that hard to accept, especially since we're the ones paying for the wedding. We even suggested therapy, but she refused. Now she says this whole situation is stressing her out and she's losing sleep over it. For context, I live in Southeast Asia, where weddings are usually family-centered, but in our religion, the groom's parents are not required to be present. I don't want my fiance to feel like he has to choose between me and his family. I've tried hard to earn his parents' approval, and they have no issues with me as a person. It's just the wedding that doesn't meet his mom's expectations. My fiance is a wonderful man and wants to marry me with or without his mom's blessing, but I keep wondering, is this a battle I should keep fighting, or is it something I need to let go of? And there are some comments, but what do you think?
I think it's kind of both. Like, I think it's a battle you need to let go of.
Yeah.
So instead of it being something where you just go like, oh, I'll just give her whatever she wants, you just go, no, I'm not going to give you whatever you want. And you know what? I'm just going to deal with whatever response you decide to have to it.
Yeah. And also just kind of realizing this is not my mother and not really my responsibility. So I think it's just dealing with it or letting it go in the sense of just being like, oh, it's actually not really my problem. And my boyfriend or my fiance has made the decision that he doesn't need her permission and doesn't really need her at the wedding one way or another. And you just kind of let him make those decisions for himself and come to you, hopefully, if he has any other problems.
Or you could sacrifice your mother-in-law to a volcano.
Yeah, or do that. Comment 1, have the wedding you want and let her come or not. She probably really just wants you guys to wait to get married so she doesn't have to lose her little boy or something stupid. OP says, some part of me feels the same way. My fiance's parents have huge fights over small things, and his mom drags the kids into it. She expects her sons to watch and even step in, which I think is unfair. On top of that, she expects my fiance to cover her travel and some household bills. He's basically been the backbone of the family, acting like a second parent to his younger brothers. Comment 2 says she created an excuse instead of just saying, I think this is a bad idea. Knowing someone long distance is very different from living together. I was thinking that too. I think you should try living together before you make a legal commitment. I was also thinking that, but it wasn't the main part of the story, so I didn't say anything.
I forgot.
Yeah, they've been like long distance for 2 years and they're about to get married.
Yeah, wait, no.
No,
Oh,
I
wait a
was
minute.
thinking that too.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
I
No,
agree.
that's not what the mom is saying. This is a commenter saying that that's probably what she's feeling and why she's against it.
Oh, why she's
Yeah,
being
yeah.
difficult is
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what she's feeling, and she's not
But we don't
actually
know that.
saying
Yeah.
it. Gotcha. People do that.
Yeah.
People will, instead of saying the
Yeah.
hard, uncomfortable thing, they'll say a thing that's easier to say
Yeah,
that
which
makes
makes no
much less sense.
She should have just been honest about her concerns. Opie says, I don't think distance was the real issue. My fiance and I have been traveling to see each other 3 to 4 times a year. Oh, for 2 to 4 weeks each time. The problem seems deeper. Her mom has a certain image she wants to maintain around her friends. One time, she even told my fiancé she was embarrassed because her husband doesn't have a high-paying job like her friend's husband. She said it wasn't fair to her. That felt pretty harsh, especially considering her husband could afford to buy a 2-story house in cash. Commenter 3 says you have to put a stop to her interference, and the best time is now. Your fiancé might need extra support or counseling because it's hard as heck to change the pattern of a lifetime, but your marriage will be a misery if you set a pattern of living up to her expectations. If she wants to tell people she boycotted your wedding because it wasn't posh enough, let her. OP says, I agree. My fiancé and I have done couples therapy, but I've been encouraging him to go on his own too. I've been in individual therapy regularly. One thing I've noticed is that he avoids conflict, especially with his mom. She can be manipulative and gets hysterical when people don't do what she wants. That's been his whole life, so I know it'll take time for him to learn how to set healthy boundaries. Comment 4 says, why does she care about inviting higher-ups from work? Does she work there too? OP says, nope, she hasn't worked in over 25 years. I think it's more about her social life and how much she cares about her public image. She's friends with higher-ups and some celebs, so I think she feels pressure to keep up appearances, which she couldn't afford.
It's literally Grey Gardens. This is the plot of Grey Gardens.
Don't know what that is.
It's a socialite who's broke, but they live in a mansion.
Interesting.
But it's in disrepair on the inside.
Kind of a talented Mr. Ripley situation.
In a way, yeah.
OP says she reached out to me personally with different excuses, saying my fiance's family is not on board with it. It wouldn't bless our marriage. She wanted my fiance to wait until he's more financially mature and stable before building a family. So it does seem that she's roughly coming from the idea of wanting you guys to be older. I told her we're both adults and this is our decision regardless of what she has to say. And now future mother-in-law is calling my fiance and becoming hysterical on the phone. And there is an update, but do you have any thoughts before we jump in?
I hate hysterics.
Stop it.
Bring back the sanatorium.
Well, we sent
throw
women
you in
who had
there.
hysteria.
You're being hysterical. Mother, if you call me hysterical one more time, I will have you removed from society.
I'll have you literally diagnosed with hysteria. And one of the things that they did to solve that was keep you in bed, and you weren't allowed to get out of bed for anything. After a few days, she reached out to me personally. She said she didn't approve of the wedding because she felt my fiancé wasn't financially stable enough yet. For context, we're both financially independent and covering all wedding costs ourselves. I replied politely, saying I'm sorry she felt that way, but assured her I'm not a financial burden to her son since I want to have my career and all. I also said we're both pursuing our goals and there's no reason to wait to get married. Apparently that set her off really badly. She called my fiancé for 3 hours, hysterically yelling about how disrespectful it was for me to reply with a long message. When he got home, she continued yelling and even called me names. She made his brother sit there and watch everything. No one defended him. This went on for several days. Every time he came home, she'd start yelling again for hours. It reached a point where my fiancé packed up all his things to move out. But before he could leave, his mom found out, trashed all his belongings, literally ripped out his luggage in two, and called him horrible names. It didn't stop there. She physically attacked him and made the entire family watch. What is going on in this family?
Nobody's gonna just like put an Oklahoma drill on her real quick.
What the heck?
I mean, like, you don't even have to do that. Just like get around her, like both hands behind the head, snake up, restrain. Don't just stand there and let someone attack somebody.
Yeah. But I don't want you guys to have any restraint from listening to full episodes of stories just like this.
We want you to have a problem.
Yeah, just a full-on problem. And go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio to search up OK Storytime and find those episodes. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Wrestle your mom, brothers.
Brother.
Or wrestle your mother-in-law. I just can't imagine dealing with that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I come home and you scream for hours.
Yeah.
You yell and you yell.
I'm just wondering about their financials. This is kind of a side note from your like terrible mother-in-law. But, you know, you say that you're financially independent, and maybe his part of getting financially independent was that he was living with his parents. But, you know, I'm wondering, can he now afford to live alone? You know, if you're paying for a wedding, but he wasn't able to move out before. Yeah, I'm just wondering about those financials. I'll make sure you got everything in order. I still can't process how fast everything escalated. It happened so suddenly and so brutally that I took a 24-hour flight the next day and went straight home completely shaken. I know he needed me that time, and not being able to do anything if I'm far would have unalived me. Now, he hasn't gone home since, and we've decided to elope next year. I still can't believe this all started because she wanted a prestigious wedding. It's heartbreaking to see how far it went, but at least we're standing together. Please wish us luck and peace as we move forward. And
I wish you
that's
bad
the
luck
end.
and problems. No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
I wish you well.
Like, what is the reaction? What is the response to mother-in-law?
I
Was
don't
that
know.
the end?
Yeah, it was the end.
My ex canceled our wedding, then slept with our friend.
There's a reason for the cancellation.
Fiancé, 25 male, ended our 6-year relationship 3 months ago out of the blue. He told me, 27 female, that he didn't want to get married anymore because he was unsure about how he felt about marriage. As a consequence, the wedding arrangements were canceled, invites retracted, venue alerted, etc. By the way, this comes from Jesse Rat, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, he suffers from depression and he got a new job, which was very stressful. He wanted to separate so he could clear his mind and meet up again after Christmas to see how we felt about each other, which gave me some hope even though I felt heartbroken. I moved back in with my parents, who are a couple of hours drive away, because our accommodation agreement came to an end, and as I am self-employed and not earning much, it would be hard to manage alone. I kept myself as busy as I could up until now, visiting friends, looking after my grandmother, applying for jobs to tide me over until my head is in a good place. I felt like I was able to start getting positive, but New Year's Eve, he called me to tell me that he had slept with a mutual friend the night before and wanted me to know from him. He used to talk to this girl a lot when we were together, and they were just friends then and have been since university. I wasn't overly comfortable about the conversations he had often had with her, as he often chose talking to her on laptop or phone over spending time with me. It made me jealous, but I was honest, and he assured me that he only saw her as a good friend and that she reminded him of his best friend from his school days. So he broke it off, and we had to live in the same house together until mid-December because of contracts working my job notice. He spent either time at work or privately in the spare bedroom on the laptop talking to her. I'm not proud of snooping, but as we share a laptop, I can see all the sites he visits, and he left his Blue app account logged in. I admit that I was in the wrong to look, but I did. They had been having conversations about just regular stuff, but they had sent silly photos of themselves pulling faces and whatever, no mention of me, except me and OP have broken up, sad face. My gosh. And her saying that she was sorry to hear that. They had arranged to go to a theme park together, see movies together, and potentially for him to go to her sister's wedding with her. So to get to the point, he tells me on the phone that she is a really good friend and his feelings for her have gotten more intense. So he drove to where she lives, which is several hours away. Then they went to see a movie together. He went back to hers and he made a move, and they spent the night having spicy sleep. He told her he loved her, and she said she'd been in love with him for the past year, but said nothing about her feelings because of me. I felt so hurt, as she was a mutual friend, and I feel that she overstepped the boundary with the constant private conversations that they had whilst he and I were together. And I feel betrayed by him for moving forward so quickly from one moment telling me that he loves me, can't wait to be married and start our family, to making his excuses to be free before diving into another relationship and telling this girl that he is in love with her. I don't know how to move on from this. My friends tell me what they think I want to hear, that he is a rotten guy and I can do better, but I'm finding it hard to assimilate what is going on because although I don't feel as though I love him anymore, I feel so upset and angry still. I now don't want to leave the house. I no longer take pride in my appearance, and I repeatedly torture myself by having nightmares of them together. Any advice, please? Oh, we do have some comments.
This
but
is
what are yours?
insane.
Yeah.
You didn't even have time to grieve your relationship, let alone this guy is stomping all over your heart that he
Right.
broke into 20 pieces, and then it broke more when he's like, it's a mutual friend of ours, and
Yeah.
I love her, by the way.
Yeah. No, I think you can 100% be upset about that still. Like, even if you don't love him. I mean, that kind of happened to me. Like, not really the same exact thing, but like probably over a year after I broke up with someone, I found out that like, yeah, I was probably getting cheated on in the relationship, and I was
Dang.
still so upset. I was like, obviously I like had totally moved on, but it was still
It
like
was like the final nail in the coffin kind
yeah,
of thing.
exactly.
And
It
yeah,
was like, well, I should have known the whole time. You know what I
but
mean?
that's not your fault. That's
Well, no, exactly. But it's like I understand that like you could still feel that way. Like that still sucks.
yeah. Don't suppress your feelings. Don't be
Yeah.
like, I'm upset and like I'm getting what I want to hear, but I have no idea how to process this. That's so okay. I don't even know how to
Yeah.
process this, and I'm not even in this relationship.
Right. There are some comments. Comment number 1 says, I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm not a relationship guru, but I'd like to offer some neutral advice. 6 years is a long time to be in a relationship, but it's not as long as an unhappy marriage. It seems to me that he was pulling away for longer than maybe you'd like to admit to yourself. I obviously don't know everything about your relationship, but an honest relationship is a healthy one. Maybe he didn't admit to himself how much he cared for this other girl because he was with you, and pulling away gave him the space to do just that. It's going to be hard to move on from this, and that's okay. You seem as if you feel betrayed and have every right to feel whatever you feel. I hope you don't dwell on this too long in your life and have a good, healthy release for your negative emotions. Life moves on, and this isn't the end of your world. I hope you feel better soon. Opie says, I didn't see it coming, to be honest. He talked about how excited he was about the upcoming wedding, and any slowing down of Spicy Sleep life, he assured me it was because of his depression and stress at work. I believed him. It could very well have been. But it also could have been this girl as well, I guess. The only issue I was aware of was the lack of spicy sleep. And I understood and never pressured him. Perhaps I was fooled easily because he gave every impression of being happy. And there is an edit, just a thank you to all who gave advice, wrote words of encouragement, or just generally nodded and listened. I thought this post would get lost, and I'm glad it didn't because there has been a lot of things said here that will be useful for me, and hopefully others in a similar situation. You're all lovely people, and I appreciate it. But we do have an update 1 year later. Some might remember my post a year ago. We sure do. Which concentrated on how I was finding it a struggle to get through my long-awaited wedding being canceled, and how my ex-fiancé became involved with a mutual friend. I'm just here to give a brief update and hope that my experience may perhaps encourage those in similar situations to keep positive and be inspired to move forward. Never underestimate how time truly is a wonderful healer. At first, you feel as though you are never going to leave the little ball of pain you roll yourself into, gradually giving yourself the space to grieve, anger, tears, arrogance, however you deal best. Making positive health choices, both mentally and physically, and keeping yourself busy can help the hurt become less and less each day. Personally, I began singing properly again. I was a self-employed music teacher for years, and when everything went wrong in my relationship, I stopped making music. I took a brief break, but knew quickly that something I loved doing must never be allowed to stop. Another word of advice is to find a hobby or rekindle old hobbies. Within the last year, I feel as though I've achieved a lot. I moved to a different city to begin a new job. I slept on a friend's sofa for 3 months to save money up to be able to afford to find a room in a shared house. It was hard. My life felt like it was in a suitcase. Most of my belongings were stored in my parents' garage a few hours away. I took all the extra hours that I could and threw myself into work. Within 3 months, I got a room for myself. Then shortly afterwards, I got a small promotion. I auditioned and joined a fantastic choir who have done loads of great classical CD releases. I tried the dating game again, venturing in via Tinder, but it didn't go well for me. Too many F-boys. Had a lapse, drank and smoked a lot, questioned my decisions and whether I was a failure. I picked myself up the best that I could, though. Moved houses again in November, met a great new man in December. Ex-fiancé got back in contact to find out about how I was doing. I told him I felt the best I felt in years and thanked him for breaking it off. I have a life that I enjoy living. And by the way, I hope you enjoy listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. We have plenty for you to enjoy.
Yes, we do.
There is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, my girl is thriving.
That a girl.
It's a struggle, but that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be a rough start.
Yeah.
But over time, and you said it best, time is an excellent healer.
It really is.
Um,
It's so annoying when you're like starting your healing process.
Oh,
You're like,
it-
oh my God, I just have to like wait for it to be over.
It's like the end of the world, and everyone tells you this. You'll be okay. And
Yeah.
look at you. Yeah, you had some rough stuff and rough patches, but that's life.
yeah, exactly.
But I
You're-
said, you focused on yourself.
Right. There's like tons and tons of terrible people in the world, and you're going to run into them. That's just kind of statistically it's just gonna happen.
And
So
Within a year too,
Yeah.
good for you. Like
Yeah.
for some people, it could be shorter. For other people, it could be way longer.
Yeah.
That's just your timetable, and it's gonna. I mean, when when you first got broken up with like, you're like, I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life.
right, it feels like that.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Your first heartbreak, and then
Right.
over time, there's gonna be one day you're like, wait,
Like I actually haven't thought about that person.
I'm genuinely good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm feeling good.
Totally different. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's you, OP. You're
Good job.
good for you.
I feel as though I laugh every day about something. I often write down in a diary a couple of positive points to my day. Could be as simple as a lovely sunrise or a great talk with a customer, perhaps something to look forward to. I don't expect or need responses. I just wanted to say thank you for the advice and encouraging words that I had last year, and that I truly hope that others who were experiencing things similar to me are doing well. In particular, passing on best wishes to some commenters whose replies to my original post resonated in my mind. Thanks to... And that's all we got.
My ex called me manipulative for asking him to stop flirting with another woman.
Yeah, you're trying to manipulate me into being a good boyfriend. That's crazy.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Trigger warning for mentions of a harmful relationship. Hello, people of Reddit. I am coming here since my ex does not like when I talk to people that know him. Red flag. For story purposes, my name is Bella, 27, and my ex is Adam, 35.
Yeah.
There will be another person in this story. She is 33 to 34, I believe, and we'll call her Helga.
Let's go, Helga.
By the way, this comes from Confused and Dazzled, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
If we're here to give good advice goofily, well, we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I was working at Staples in the print and marketing department when in walks this man with a mask and his hood up, and I couldn't take my eyes off of him. That man ended up being Adam.
I'm sorry.
Only see his eyes, and like I couldn't take my eyes off his eyes.
Yeah, was it because you were worried he might commit a crime of some kind?
Could be it.
He walked into Staples, masked and with his hood up and his hands in his pockets, and I thought, why is he walking directly towards the register?
He probably wants to ask for my number. The problem was I was in a harmful relationship, physically and mentally, that I was working on getting out of with Chad. Adam and I got to know each other a bit through my second phone, which I had to plan my escape route from Chad since Chad had my main phone cloned.
Dang.
Terrifying.
This is all terrible.
That's terrible. One day, Chad threatened me for the last time, and I up and left. I was not moving back in with my parents. I asked friends and everyone. Adam gave me a place to stay. After about 8 months of living together, Adam and I started dating. So yes, I had to deal with a lot of his BS before we got together, rotating women and all, and it didn't help that I was also on the roster. As our relationship developed, I would get insecure and ask him questions all the time because I saw how he was with other women. This led to a lot of fights. Those disagreements led to him cheating on me and me finding out. I also found out that he liked messaging women and flirting with them. He was adding random smexy women on Facebook all the time. Yet I stayed, not wanting to ruin the non-refundable cruise that was booked. You stayed together because you were going on a cruise?
Sometimes a good cruise is worth staying with a guy who cheats on you constantly.
I don't know if that's true.
It's not. I'm just kidding.
So-
I'm just joking.
Since the last cruise he went on was with an ex, the cruise saved our relationship. No, it didn't. The cruise as handcuffed you to your relationship. It did not save it.
The cruise saved our relationship, and the captain saved everyone's life when he avoided that iceberg.
We came back from the cruise and started building a business together. I also wanted to work on my own business. We install appliances for a living. I wanted another woman with us since women in the trades are considered unicorns. This is when Helga enters the picture. I got to know her. I became friends with her. I told Adam she's amazing. and we should figure something out for her, but I didn't want her working alongside him since we work separately. He never agreed to it. He started riding with her against my wishes. A little time passes, and I notice things that catch my eye, like her adding him on Facebook as a friend and blocking me.
Okay.
That's weird.
Noticing that particular combo, pretty revealing of someone's intent.
Then, when the three of us hang out, her bending over and shaking her butt by him. She had the nerve to call me crazy and sweet-talked Adam to be on her side. He always chose her side. Yeah, your relationship is not good. It's not good. Gotta end this.
I mean, at least it's an ex. It's already over.
Yeah, that's true.
Adam is already the ex. It's just
true.
She just touched my foot with her foot. It was
I
disgusting.
didn't even notice.
What? You didn't? What? You didn't even notice. No, so, for some reason I feel worse now. Wait, no. I don't even know. I don't know how to feel anymore. This is crazy. Break up with Adam earlier.
Yes, I hounded him about this after multiple times with him not caring about me enough to let her go and calling me manipulative for asking for it. He's called me crazy for these emotions that revolve around Helga and selfishness. All of this led to our breakup.
Hey.
By the way, it would be selfish of you guys not to listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
Yeah, it would be so selfish.
Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Don't be selfish.
Please.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I'm glad you stopped dating Chad.
Yeah, I'm glad you broke up.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry you ended up with Adam right after that.
Yeah, two back to back.
But I think there might be a thing where usually after you get out of a really bad relationship, the first one you get into after that, is it gonna be the best one?
Well, because you're searching for people that the Adam in I think OP's eyes kind of saved her from this relationship.
Yeah, in a
Literally
way.
gave her a place, and so
I
I feel like
think-
there's kind of that
Yeah.
like trauma bonding in
Yeah,
a way.
it's like because you met him like in the midst of you
Yeah.
being this other guy, like there's some level of
I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like you really just get out there and meet a lot of people. Get your own roster, you know?
Yeah.
Get a roster of your own.
But I'm glad that you are out of this relationship. To clarify, he broke up with me because I kept asking him questions about him and Helga.
No.
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm glad that y'all break up, but I'm upset that you were the one to see that you were
Yeah.
worth more than
better.
that.
I'm not stupid. I know the moment we broke up, they slept together. There may not have been any physical cheating, but there was definitely emotional cheating. If he can do that so quickly after being together 3 years and asking me to marry him. Did you say no?
What?
He still says I'm in the wrong for asking him to cut her out of his life if he has any hope of rekindling this. What do you think? No, I'm not perfect, but don't I at least deserve to know I am the only person worth Adam's attention? Or is that wrong of me to think and I should be okay with the friends that are girls?
Well,
Helga is not a friend that is a girl. She is a girl that wants to be his girlfriend.
yeah, I think there's a difference between being the only one worthy of his attention, which I don't think is a healthy thing to have.
No.
But I do think that you are not, creating a figment of your imagination
That's clearly
with Helga.
He's already cheated on you. We already know that he cheated on you. That's the thing.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think this guy was the guy for you.
Yeah.
And that's good.
And that's a good thing because you were going to find someone way better.
My friend married the guy I secretly loved and then turned our friends against me.
Did she know that you loved him?
I, female 33, became friends with a girl at school whom I don't remember at all before the 7th or 8th grade. That was the time when I broke up with my previous best friend. Our paths naturally faded due to our growing differences, and I started hanging out with other girls. By the way, this comes from Available Line 74, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I am Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, so we're just gonna guess what we would do in this situation. Let us know what you do in the comments. So, OP says, this girl, Manana, female 33 now as well. She was a friend of another friend. I don't remember her from class at all. She was invisible. I can't explain why. We naturally became a group of girlfriends, best friends, and
as she claimed later, soulmate. In 9th grade, our class merged with another, and many new boys arrived. There was Timo, male, a boy who immediately said he liked Manana. He explained that she was everything he had always been looking for. She had straight teeth, white skin, and met local beauty standards. I was heartbroken and intimidated inside, mainly because I was insecure about my imperfect teeth. I had been to the dentist, but it wasn't Mother Nature who created this problem for me. I wasn't upset with Manana. It wasn't her fault that she was more beautiful than me. It was just a matter of time before I solved this issue. Also, I cared more about intellectual matters, and I didn't mind if I didn't have a boyfriend at that age. So naturally, boys were Manana's subject, while intellect and study were my freedom and joy. Temo wanted to get closer to Manana, so over time, he also became my best friend. At first, he wanted information from me, but we ended up having a lot in common, shared funny moments, and exchanged intellectual ideas. I was concerned about him and was trying to sort out my feelings. One day, when Temo made his last move towards Manana, he told me it would be the last time he tried, and he was going to give up afterwards. We were just girls together. I asked Manana how she felt, and she refused again. Then I stepped up and said, "Maybe there's another girl who's also interested in him." I said this with a girly smile and admiration, as I saw it as a free opportunity to express my feelings, but I didn't directly say it was me. The next day, Manana came to us and said that she wanted to give it another try and didn't want to lose Temo. It was kind of sad for me. I knew deep down that she did this because of my expression, but I also thought that, anyway, Temo was her choice and I would just step away. I never expressed my feelings and simply started supporting their new relationship. Over the following years, Manana was not into Temo at all. She was dating many boys behind his back, and I was confused about what to do, as both of them remained my friend. We used to be together almost 24/7 as a group. It messed up my moral system, and I wanted to break away from this relationship. However, it was my mom who stopped me from making that decision. I also felt guilty in front of Temo for the secrets that I was keeping. I have to mention how mothering and caring I was towards this girl over the years. She was in deep depression, crying all the time. I was available 24/7 for her calls, supporting her mental health. I even told Temo to bring her to a psychologist, and it worked a bit. I also helped her participate in an exchange program. I used to travel a lot during that time as I was involved in many projects and was quite satisfied with my life. It's hard to track how many times she took my intellectual ideas and passed them off as her own. I allowed it to happen because I had already developed unconditional mothering energy for her, and I was confident in myself to produce more ideas if needed. Years passed, and I met a foreign guy who was extremely good looking. We were 24 at this time, and I remember once showing the picture of the guy to the girl group. All of them jumped with happiness for me, but Manana didn't say anything. She just put her head into her mobile and started intensely chatting. But this happened several times when something big happened in my life. I knew she was jealous, but I didn't blame her. I saw her limitations and naturally forgave her because we were childhood friends, and that was more important to me. My relationship didn't turn out well. It ended up being the worst relationship I've ever had, filled with betrayals, lies, cheating, and more. Manana knew about all of this. I also have to mention that in my community, it's not common to have an intimate relationship with a boy before marriage, so I openly shared my intimate experiences as I felt like a leader of my community. She's like, I'm representing the others.
Wait, I'm serious. OP just, she's like, not a lot of people were doing it, so I went around and said, I'm having spicy sleep with people.
So it's okay, guys.
It's
you can
okay.
Do it too.
You can do it too. If I can do it, we all can do it. Rise up against the chains of your society.
Exactly.
And for
sure.
Rise up against the chains of your chastity.
Right.
And choose your own destiny.
At this point, I found out that Manana had been having an intimate relationship with Temo, which she was hiding. I think this was the source of her depression from my current perspective, but she never mentioned it. Finally, I had a terrible breakup in October 2018. Until the last day of my breakup, Manana was questioning her relationship with Temo. The day of my breakup literally became the day that she announced how terribly she loved Temo and posted a long message about her feelings on Facebook. I felt disgusted and angry at the same time, and from there, my emotional turmoil regarding her and the whole experience started. They announced their wedding the day after my birthday, which is February 9th.
Dude, we need to like cut these friends off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one, I think you're way too involved in their relationship. Like, we
Yeah.
don't need to be worried about a boy that you had a crush on in 8th grade?
Yeah.
We don't need to be worried about that. We shouldn't be worried about that anymore. We already knew that they were in a relationship.
Yeah.
She confesses online that she loves him, or says online that she loves him, and then they're getting married. Their relationship, even if it's like, because it does seem like they are maybe kind of trying to involve OP in all this drama, with all the date stuff. But like, I think at this point, you just got to be like, you know what? They're in a relationship. Whatever. I'm gonna distance myself from them.
Because
it's
it's
too much
24
drama
now.
Yeah, 20. It's been literally so long
Yeah.
since you first had a crush on this guy. Like, who cares about them anymore?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You're nearing your like 10-year high
Yeah.
school anniversary.
Yeah.
I was in depression after my breakup and had tried once to tell her that I needed her emotional support. I was going through a very hard time, but she vanished from the picture. She stopped communicating at all. I understood, though, thinking that she was busy with her wedding planning and didn't want to add drama. I had 2 other girls to release my emotions from time to time. But meanwhile, I lived in the capital of my country, and my childhood friends lived in the small town where I graduated from school. My nana needed to make a shopping trip to my city. She planned this trip without even communicating to me. She felt entitled to stay at my place, which she successfully did. I feel stupid now. Secretly, I was hoping that this would be an opportunity to talk about my ongoing emotional struggles, and she would support me the way that I had supported her throughout our relationship. Instead, she kept changing the subject every time I mentioned my ex-boyfriend with the idea that we didn't need to focus on negativity. This happened probably in December, 1.5 months after my breakup. Before their wedding, Temo asked me to go on one last friendly trip to my village. I reluctantly agreed with the condition that we would clear everything up before leaving. We divided up some tasks when we arrived. Some cooked, others made the fire, and so on. I noticed that Manana took responsibility for doing nothing. So I announced loudly, "It's okay, she can rest, but she will do the dishes tomorrow instead." So I said, I have never dated 2 boys at the same time. Surprisingly, Temo was the one who told Manana to drink, as he knew that she had dated many boys.
You don't know anything about their relationship.
Yeah, I'm assuming they had time apart since like those times
Probably.
in high school, but like still kept in touch or something, and that maybe that's why she was like, "Oh, I found out that they're dating."
That makes sense.
At that moment, I realized I wasn't necessary between these people anymore. The next day, Manana washed part of the dishes with Temo, and after she finished, she closed the door. I checked if everything was closed in the house. It's a resort house of my family, and found that the dishes were still untouched. I was shocked. There are millions of these small details that I had kept quiet about, but I couldn't take it anymore. I was furious that these people were planning to create family day by day. To make a long story short, Manana wanted to celebrate her bridal party at a club on my birthday night, which I refused to attend. I had other plans to spend my birthday with meditation and calmer energy rather than being in a club. I attended their wedding, which was okay. I was beautiful, but I had both good and sad feelings at the same time, as I knew I was letting go of part of my life. It wasn't mine anymore. Manana wrote to me in March 2019 saying she was pregnant and blaming me for things. What? Creating more drama.
Girl, just cut them off.
Cut them off.
This friendship is exhausting.
Yeah, I feel like you've noticed it
Yeah.
too, but
It's
you're
like you-
staying.
I mean, she hasn't liked Manana for a while. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like. And I'm not saying that Manana isn't, obviously to blame for a lot of these things. She's definitely creating drama too.
Oh, for sure.
But like, when we notice we have a friend who's always creating drama, who's always trying to pull us back into it, let's distance ourselves from those
Yeah.
friends.
It's okay to walk away, even if you were friends before.
Some friends from 7th and 8th grade aren't going to be friends for a lifetime.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Exactly. I couldn't take it anymore, so I told her she was the reason for my distance and rudely told her to get lost. It was enough for me to be patient all the time due to her depression, her wedding, or her pregnancy. The excuses never ended. She ran to speak to other girls about how rude I was, but didn't show them the messages. She said that she deleted them. People believed her tears. I stayed outside of the group, and they stopped inviting me to upcoming events like the baby gender reveal, and even a friend didn't invite me to his wedding. And by the way, I'll invite you to listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but
I mean, OP, my
Yeah.
advice for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Cut off this friend.
right,
Cut off any of the friends siding with her that are creating drama.
right.
And take comfort in the fact that she started a relationship with a guy that she didn't like and continued it because she wanted to piss you off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
and
think
move on.
I feel like you shouldn't be upset by not being invited to the gender reveal party. I feel like that's totally fine if you don't like her anymore.
yeah,
like, it
we
should
don't
be.
like her. Why would we go there?
Yeah, like it might be disappointing if your friends, don't do that, but
Sure.
like maybe if it means that much to you, then reach out to your friends and try to explain it to them.
Yeah, you've got the text. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, I know she deleted them, but
Right.
here's the text.
Or like, if your friends are doing this, then maybe it's just not.
yeah, maybe these aren't friends either.
Yeah. Yeah, but there is a little bit more to the story. Meanwhile, Temo called me once he was on his traveling trip. He was a sailor. I still held back from telling him the full truth, but after some time, I couldn't handle it anymore, so I wrote to him. Not directly, but to give the idea that I had positive feelings towards him. Once Manana reserved him, I put myself aside, regretting not being bolder.
I think you still like Timu.
Well, apparently,
Temo.
if she's admitting all
Yeah.
of this to him.
Well, I think she was saying, like, I did like you, and then
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
unless she's saying that she likes him now, which I was going to say, I think that's true anyway.
well, yeah, she's not saying it, but like, I feel like just her act of
Oh,
saying
yeah.
this is totally like, yeah, she totally loves.
I mean, like, all of her actions leading up to now, it's pretty clear that she's still in love with this guy.
I will make sure to express myself fully in the future to avoid this kind of misunderstanding. He didn't respond. I'm not sure if he got the point. They seem to have a happy family, at least on social media, with 2 children. I'm still healing from my past relationships and experiences. I'm single and have no idea if I will ever have a family, which has always been my dream.
Girl, you're like 24, no?
Yeah, you're good, girl.
You're
Take your
24.
time. Am I an a-hole for expressing my feelings to Temo after all of this time?
TBH, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, kind of.
Yeah. He's married with 2 kids, and you reached out to him to tell him that you still have feelings for him?
Yeah. I
You're a
feel
bit
like-
of an a-hole.
I think, yeah. I discovered my fiance's secret family after I moved states for him.
Are you guys neighbors now?
I met my fiance when we dated as kids in middle school. We reconnected about 2 years ago after living life separately and meshed so well that we decided to just take the jump. His family lives in Texas. We originally lived in Minnesota, and his mother wasn't doing well, so we moved down here to be close. My fiance bought a 2-bedroom house about a year ago when he first learned of his mother's condition. And by the way, this comes from a throwaway 255375. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So OP says, at first, after we realized we wanted things long term, he would fly back and forth every couple of weeks until I asked him to just stay with me. He had no intention of moving back to Minnesota, and it was kind of a you move here or we do long distance situation. He didn't explicitly tell me that, but that's just what I gathered from our circumstances. After some time thinking, I quit my job and moved to be with him. I've been here officially for 40 days. Last week, while looking for something in the garage, I found a pair of baby-sized Nike shoes. I asked him who they belonged to, and he said he had no idea. I thought nothing of it at the time and just tossed them. 2 days ago, when going through the hamper to do our laundry, I found a small pink bluey t-shirt, probably the size of a 5 or 6-year-old. I immediately remembered the shoes, and my mind started to race. What? That's a crazy way to find this out.
I'm glad we got curious after the second article of clothing,
Right.
but why didn't we look into the shoes more?
Yeah, that's like scary if truly nothing's going on and there's just a random baby shoes in your house. Like
Either
that's
you got a kid or this house is haunted.
some kind of crazy ghost. I'll admit, I assumed the worst and that he was hiding a kid from me, and I blew up a bit. I accused him of lying to me and started getting emotional. An argument ensued after I didn't believe him when he swore he had no idea where these things came from. He's an only child, so there's no nieces or nephews. The only family he really talks to here is his parents. He offered no explanation other than simply insisting he had no idea. I pretty much shut down after realizing we were getting nowhere and have spoken maybe 10 words to him since. He isn't pushing me to talk either. It feels like I'm just here, existing in the same space. Since yesterday, I've just been filled with despair and regret about moving here, and I'm not even sure if I should be feeling this way. The thought of apologizing for my blow-up and trying to rectify things when he might be secretly lying to me about something like this just makes my stomach churn. I don't hope or even want to believe that that's the case. He's never given me any reason to feel like this before, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. And there are some comments, but what are your comments so far?
I like that she was like, and I didn't really think he was hiding a kid from me.
Yeah.
No, he's hiding an entire family from you, girl.
Like, yeah, I mean,
that's
it's hard 'cause
exactly what I would think.
we have the title to like give
Yeah.
us that hint, but like,
I would
Yeah.
immediately still be like, why is there a baby shoes and t-shirt?
yeah, and you have no siblings, so there's no possibility
Right.
of nieces or nephews.
And this is too big for you to be like, oh, like it's for us having, like, you're not pregnant.
yeah, you don't know that you're not gonna announce to me that I'm pregnant.
Right.
Like, that's
What a
not-
backwards way.
Yeah. It's not
Surprise,
working.
he's pregnant.
Right. We do have some comments though. Comment number 1. I've randomly found kids' clothes intermixed in my stuff, but it's as simple as I've had nieces and nephews over even years prior and just never thought to do a clean house for crawl spaces or bins very often. It's still weird, but this kind of stuff happens when you sometimes babysit kids. If you don't or never have, it's strange and weirder still to not have any curiosity whatsoever. That's a good point. The fact that he's not like, he's just kind of like, oh, that's weird. It's just like a brand new baby Nikes in my clothes. Like, oh, awkward.
And then
And-
he's like, actually, like, I just really like Bluey. That shirt's for me.
Yeah, it's for me.
And
I
she's
like
like,
to put
it's
it on my
for
leg.
a baby.
She's like, I put it on my leg. I draw a little face on my
I just
knee,
really
and
like
I
Bluey.
make a little puppet out of my leg.
Yeah, like,
Like,
best answer,
Is-
I've taken up puppetry.
right? But the fact that he's not even curious about
or
like,
trying to make
Yeah.
an excuse, like,
it's like, okay, there's definitely something going on.
zero creativity prompts.
Come on. It doesn't have to be a mystery either of you can or even need to solve, but his reaction or lack of surprise at all is a red flag in my opinion. Comment number 2 says, you've now found baby shoes and a shirt for a small child, maybe 5 or 6. They were in his garage and in his laundry. The laundry, especially, is suspect because that is constantly moving and refilling. Does he think these items just magically appeared? There's maybe 1 child or 2, and my first thought was that there's a baby mama out there who is leaving evidence for you to find. Interesting. You know how some women leave earrings in the bed or underwear behind so the man's wife can find it? That's what I thought of with this. So what is he going to do about this? What are you going to do about it? I don't know if it will work, but you can search birth records online. You might have to pay though. Sites like Ancestry and MyHeritage have birth records, and you don't have to have all the info like birth dates. That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
That is good to know. We do have an update. Someone suggested I propose getting cameras and gauge his reaction. He was very against it and immediately jumped to the conclusion that I was trying to catch him in something. His reaction took me by surprise.
Well, what would you have to be caught doing?
Exactly. After that, I said screw it and went through his phone. Another popular suggestion. It's something neither of us had done since knowing each other, so I'd watched him put in the code from the corner of my eye and then went through it while he slept. I found a woman that he's been calling and answering calls from while he's working maybe every other day. After my hand stopped shaking, I called from my phone and asked who she was. She asked me who I was, and I told her I'm his fiancé. She told me she's the mother of his kids and that he's a father of 2 boys, a girl, 10, 7, and 5 years old. Oh my
it's
God.
many kids.
That's so much.
Okay, she didn't say his wife though.
Yeah, that's true. Just the mother
So
of
I'm
his
wondering
kids.
if they're in a relationship or if the thing he's lied about is just not having a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I mean,
That's still a massive unforgivable
Oh, I see what you're
lie.
saying.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe they're not like together.
just
He
like a
just has a bunch
co-parenting.
of kids and they're co-parenting thing.
That's a good point. Still weird.
Still like
Frick.
not something you don't disclose to someone that you're engaged to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm kind
okay,
of like- okay.
Wait, yeah, the
more
next
info.
sentence
Okay,
is
great.
The next sentence is, they met in college and have been on and off since then, but they're currently just co-parenting. An
Okay.
obvious lie, OP says, though. Okay, interesting.
An obvious lie.
Yeah.
Ah.
So maybe there's like other hints of
The
a
lies are
relationship.
deeper.
There's so much to the story. She told me that she'd been told about me and that he said I was pregnant and had pretty much moved here at random against his will. That I was just a crazy one-night stand while they were on a break and he was just trying to co-parent, basically playing this role of the heroic father to a fake baby, trying to do right, when in reality he's just a psychotic piece of garbage. She seemed more relieved that I wasn't pregnant than anything. But that's her issue. I told her about the shirt. She said her kids had spent the weekend. Another lie, because no one has ever been here since I moved in. She didn't even seem to care that he hid his own children from a woman that he was going to marry. He doesn't know yet, but I'm leaving. I'll be using my little savings to get home and stay at a motel until I'm on my feet again. Thankfully, when I left my job, my boss said I was always welcome back. My flight is in 2 days. I probably shouldn't have, but I also broke his phone and said that I accidentally spilled water on it. No, I accidentally spilled water on it.
Oh no.
I mean,
you accidentally had a secret family.
About an hour after I called her, she texted him, "Call me," and I panicked. I assume she plans to tell him that I know, even though I asked her not to. It hurts, and I've been evaluating everything this far. Every conversation we've had, every little piece that hasn't added up. One thing I will say, although he never begged me to move or anything, we did have numerous conversations about the possibility, and a month before I moved here, he acted so excited and even sent me a bunch of job listings in the area. I definitely did not stalk him or pressure him, but he clearly wants his baby mama if he's concocted this whole psychotic fairy tale to sell to her, so I'm truly and honestly done. I'm just trying to remain calm and sane until I'm up and out of his life for good. This whole time, he hasn't even asked why I'm not talking to him either. Thankfully, I guess, because I wouldn't know what to say. But I know he's a garbage parasite, and that just hurts me even more. And it would hurt me if you guys didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or even your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime, and you can save me from so much pain.
Yeah, guys, don't break Angie's heart.
Guys, please. It's so fragile. Please, guys. And we do have a little bit more to this story. I might just wrap this up. It's like a teeny tiny bit more.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's like I really was just nothing this whole time. I uprooted my whole life literally for nothing more than a single month of playing wife. Now I have to pick up the pieces and repair them all on my own, while his life stays unchanged and he gets to be happy with his family. This has all happened within the last 48 hours, so
God.
I am still collecting myself emotionally. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
My boyfriend admitted that he wants another woman, but still expects me to stay with him.
What?
I've been with him for 4.5 years. We have 2 kids together now. They are both toddlers, a 3-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old boy, and I myself have a 13-year-old son. So I left Arizona and all my family about a year ago to come be with him and give it a go again. Things were great at the beginning, then I started noticing changes about 5 months in. He started drinking more and smoking the devil's lettuce, like overindulging. By the way, this comes from Spirited Storm 716, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, we'll backtrack to 4 years ago. I caught him being inappropriate messaging one of his exes. They were flirting and he had deleted the messages, but I saw just enough to know what was up. Then down the line more, he's talking to his baby mama. Same thing, being inappropriate, living in effing la la land. He always says it's nothing and that I'm worried about nothing, and then he usually comes around and admits to it being some BS. That happened when we found out that we were pregnant with our first child, our daughter. Now fast forward to 4.5 years later. He's working as a maintenance man where we live. The place was willing to give him an apartment even though his background is bad because of his in and out charges in the system. Mind you, we met through the system on a jail bus, except I've completely changed my whole life and myself around, while he would be doing good and then fall off, etc. So we're living here together in this apartment. Things are great. Then I noticed changes. And then, of course, I lose my car. So now I am literally a stuck stay-at-home mom worried about what he may or may not be doing. Well,
there are these other people that live here. I am 31 female and he's 35 male. So I don't know what the F he even sees in wanting to hang out with them, but he does. So now the guy ends up becoming my fiance's friend. Well, when I first met the girl, I didn't like her from the jump. She carries herself as if any and everyone can have her, if that makes sense. Also, she has tattoos all over her, which some do look okay, but She also dresses very inappropriately. She has 2 little babies as well. So I noticed my husband going over to hang out with them more and more. Well, these people aren't any good. They sell substances, party all the time, and crap like that. Of course, he got intrigued and interested. Well, my fiance and her dude start becoming close or whatever. So all of a sudden, a month ago, this guy's phone breaks. So now he has to use her phone to get a hold of my fiance. I'm sure you see where this is going. I don't ever go through his phone, but I just had this weird feeling. So I go through his phone, and sure enough, I find some crap. Except he deleted all the messages and the recently deleted. So I wait and try to piece it together more. My fiance is a self-absorbed person also. I'ma just throw that out there. He thinks he never does anything wrong ever. So yes, of course I'm upset. Except I have nothing really to go off of except for a few messages between him and her that make absolutely no sense. From the moment I met this girl and her boyfriend, I knew they were trouble. They're just not any good. Her boyfriend isn't such a bad guy, but the fact that he tolerates the BS she does is what makes me not trust the whole situation. So this last Friday happens. I know a little bit, but all I know is that my fiance is being sneaky because all I saw were scrambled messages that made little to no sense. But my gut is telling me that there is more. Otherwise, they wouldn't be deleted. I remember seeing messages between her boyfriend and my fiance on her phone, and that's how I know he deleted stuff because I remember seeing him and his messages. So we get into a big old fight Friday because he has the nerve to ask me out of nowhere, why do I not like her and why do I have such an issue with her? I told him, I don't know, ask yourself why. Why do you think I might not like her? So I brought up the messages to him. He lies, of course, and makes up some lame story as to why they were talking and why he deleted the messages. I'm furious at this point because remember, we've gone through this before in the past with him being sneaky and inappropriate. So some time goes by through the night and I decide to message her myself because I saved her phone number off of my fiance's phone. So I message her and she asks to call me. She tells me all of it, which could be nothing, but in my opinion, all of it is inappropriate. And she sends me screenshots. But also, that's irrelevant because at this point, she's only going to send me screenshots of what she told me happened. Get it? Yeah, me too. So I read them all and noticed that she was saying crap that she shouldn't have been saying as well. I'm disgusted and repulsed by the things that he was saying to her. And also, this happened back at the beginning of March, so she knew all this time, obviously. Supposedly, her boyfriend knows too, and he's seen the messages too. All of it sounds shady and weird to me. I don't trust her, her boyfriend, or my fiance. I feel completely betrayed, humiliated, shattered, and broken. And now I'm completely stuck. I've been looking into family shelters for me and my kids, but they are all full at the moment. Then my fiance, of course, tries to justify how he didn't do anything wrong. And he rereads the messages over and over and decides that he didn't say anything that was really that bad. All in all, we got into a fight the next day about it, and he came clean and told me, of course, he wants to F her. Of course, she's his type, and that he isn't attracted to me anymore. Great. He says more BS to me, and then blames me for what he's done. Then Monday comes around. I'm not talking to him at all at this point. So he comes out to the parking lot and starts a big scene, telling me that I don't even want to fix things. I said, I didn't break it, so why should I fix it? You're the one who did this. And he doesn't see that he did anything wrong. So any advice? Please be honest, not critical. I know I need to leave, but I'm scared to, and I don't know why. And I don't know why you haven't listened to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. So easy, guys. But there is a little bit more to the story.
Yeah, girl, I can't even be critical of you because I'm just as confused as you are, I think.
This is just, my God.
This is the wildest thing to just slowly uncover, and you
Yeah.
know that you need to get out. You're
Yeah.
doing it.
I think it's totally fair to be scared of leaving.
Right, 100%.
Totally. I mean, at the worst of it, you might be scared of his reaction, of what
Right.
he's gonna do. And that's something, obviously to pay attention to. I think, it's also very possible that you're just scared to be alone. 'Cause,
Right.
you've been in this relationship for a reason. You guys are engaged. You want to get married. Like, you're probably scared of losing all that.
And from the sounds of it, not having a place to go, so having to
Yeah.
jump with 2 kids into a shelter like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're in a tough spot. So it's totally understandable that you're scared to leave. But I think, the fact that that you should is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. You've
Amazing.
got it.
Yeah. We have some comments. Comment number 1 says, "This is a lot of drama for a 30-something-year-old, especially when you have children to raise. I'm curious how you came to decide to have kids with him before deciding to spend the rest of your life with him. Seems like that's more permanent than marriage, but I suggest you go to work, maybe even daycare so you can bring the kids. Start being financially responsible for you, and don't put yourself in a position where you rely on someone you aren't married to. This is too much drama to be a healthy environment as a parent." Yeah, I'm assuming that they didn't really mean to get pregnant and have kids. I mean, if they started dating 4.5 years ago and they have a 3-year-old, it is kind of wild that they have like multiple kids together.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, they could all be accidents. So that's what I'm assuming. But we do have an update from 8 days later.
Okay.
Whew. Okay, update. I got away.
Yay!
And me and my kids are safely at a DV shelter.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. I'm working on getting a job and childcare set up and eventually housing. This will be a good thing for us. And that's the end of that story. My fiance blocked me over my brother wanting a dog.
Let him have the dog.
For context, my fiance, 31 male, I am going to call him Andrew, and I, 29 female, just moved into our second home. We have been engaged for a little over a year and set a date to get married in November of 2026. By the way, this comes from Ballmost2156, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says he purchased our first home from family 5.5 years ago, a super small and crabby house that we both put a lot of love and money into fixing up. We lived there for about 5 years, and 2 months ago, I was able to purchase a home in my name only. We want to save his first-time homebuyer's house for our third property, so we only put it in my name. We took a huge risk and rented his, or our first house, out to my brother, 21 male, who I will call Matt, and my niece, his 2-year-old daughter. I am very grateful to Andrew for letting him move in. He was super hesitant about it, but he did need the money. It has been 3 months since we moved into the new house, and my brother moved into our old house. We have watched Matt struggle, but he has been able to pay his bills on time, although barely. We have access to the electric account and can see he's barely keeping money on the account, just enough to not get it shut off, basically. His rent has been paid, but the second month it was 1 day late. He is known to jump from job to job every few months to try to earn higher wages, and just had a bad car accident that used up his savings the week before he was set to move in. It was a huge risk letting him move in after that, but we agreed to it if he paid a security deposit, Andrew's idea, which he did. I drafted a lease agreement that said if he wanted pets, he would need to ask, which Matt verbally agreed to, but Andrew never had him sign it. He has made several comments like this before, and I have noticed a pattern where he refers to it as his house when it is a decision he wants to control, and it is our house when it's something that he wants me to help with, which becomes relevant later. A few days ago, Matt asked us if he could get a dog, and it has caused a bit of a rift between Andrew and me. We have been going to couples therapy for almost 2 years, and when we talked to our therapist about renting our house to my brother and our concerns, we all agreed that it was best for Andrew and Matt to handle all aspects of the house rental together, and I would stay out of it because my love for my brother would conflict with my ability to be a landlord. Andrew wanted full control of the situation, so that was the expectation that I went into this with. I preemptively told Andrew that Matt had asked about getting a dog, so he was not blindsided by the ask and would have time to consider it, but Andrew immediately got very mad and said Matt was stupid for even thinking about it. He started venting all the reasons that it was a bad idea, and I openly agreed that there were several reasons that I agreed with. A dog is destructive to the house. They take a lot of time and money to care for. His daughter is scared of dogs. He needs to live there longer and show us that he can pay his bills and afford dog food because he can barely pay his electrical bill. He also later told us that he was looking at a 2-year-old German Shepherd a coworker was rehoming, which is one of the highest energy and hardest to train breeds. But Andrew was a hard no, so that was the decision for now. I said we could tell him no, but that we should have an open discussion with Matt so we could set some guidelines to work towards him getting a dog one day. Andrew agreed that he was okay with Matt having a dog eventually, but not right now. Andrew also said he was too angry to have the conversation with him and that I would need to handle talking to my brother if I did not want him to blow up at Matt, which are his words. This was a concern for me since we already talked about me staying out of big decisions with the rental, and I told him that the whole conversation was giving me anxiety and I was not comfortable talking to him alone as the decision maker. I wanted to talk together as a unified front and have an open conversation about it. When I have a conversation in that mindset, my whole brain seems to shut down and I get really flustered and forget every reason an argument I had, which is exactly what happened. Matt came over later that day to borrow our lawnmower, and while he was there, he asked to have the conversation about getting a dog. And I got shaky and told him that it was a no for now, but that we could talk about it and try to find a way for us to be comfortable with that in the future. I told him I did not know what that was or how it looked, that I needed more than a day's notice to make that decision and come up with some ideas to discuss. He said he was frustrated that we did not trust him with the responsibility, but that he understood, and that was it. I told him we had a list of reasons why we were against it, and he wanted me to text him the list later. We went inside, and when Matt saw Andrew, he tried to tell him a few things about the dog he wanted, like how he would leave it outside in the kennel. But Andrew did not respond, and it was just awkward silence. I told Matt that we still needed time to think about it. After a few more words and a few more minutes of awkward silence, I ushered Matt to the door, and he left. In hindsight, I should have told Matt before we walked in that Andrew did not want to talk about it and that he was upset. After a few hours, I was feeling really guilty about the awkwardness of the whole conversation and having to say no. So I messaged Matt that I was sorry for the awkwardness. It was still a no, but that I would like to be able for all of us to talk about it so there is no resentment from either side. If he was a tenant I didn't know, I would not care if he was mad about it or upset, but it being my brother, I do care. So I texted him saying, "Hey bro, just want to say sorry for the awkwardness earlier. I think it was a bit of a surprise and we were not prepared to deal with the pet talk just yet. LOL. I love you and it hurts my heart to not say yes, but we also have some hesitations about it. Andrew did not want to talk about it tonight and I think we both need time to process the request and come up with some points of discussion about it. I will work on that list of reasons why we are against it and we can talk about it throughout the week or maybe the next time I see you. Hope you have a great..."
I don't know. It is nice that you're doing all of this, but
Mhm.
also, like, at the end of the day, he needs to realize that you guys are his landlords, effectively, and he just can't have a dog.
Yeah, you can't have a dog.
We don't want you.
Also, you shouldn't have a dog.
Yeah,
I mean,
you shouldn't.
the reasons that they're not wanting it is
Yeah.
so valid. If you can barely afford to pay your electrical bill and you have a kid, like, don't get a dog. Especially if it's just a 2-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like, that's too much. Too much. He replied with, "I appreciate it, sis, and do not feel bad. I understand. Have a great week, too." He said that the following morning. That morning, Andrew grabbed my phone to call his phone that he had misplaced and saw the text from Matt and opened my phone and read the messages. He left in a hurry, and when I called to ask him if he had forgotten his lunch, he answered the phone with a "what?" which was very aggressive and out of character. About 10 minutes from my office, I got a long text from him saying that he was mad at me with bullet points about what I did wrong, as follows. We ready to hear the bullet points? 1. I am upset that based on the texts, you did not have an in-depth conversation with Matt. 2. I'm upset that you are almost 30 years old and still get anxiety talking to people. You need to grow up. Funny how you never have an issue being rude to me, but you are scared of hurting other people's feelings. 3, it is disrespectful that I stated my boundaries and that I did not want to talk to Matt, and yet you still wanted me to join the conversation. And if I do not respect his boundaries, he is going to grow resentful. 4, we are one entity. If I struggle, you struggle. We spent 5 years working on the other house, and you need to start caring more about protecting the investment than caring about your brother's wants. He ended it with saying that he does not want to argue, and I just need to do better when it comes to dealing with Matt. I was caught off guard by this message at 8 a.m. Matt is not bipolar, but Andrew's sister is, and he makes a lot of assumptions about my family based off his bad experience with her. I think his biasness toward her once not being able to feed her kids and getting a dog instead is playing into this and making his reaction bigger than it needs to be. Matt cares for his daughter in every sense of the word, and I think he is doing a great job for his young age. I replied that there was a lot to unpack in his text message and that we are all adults and should be able to talk about it in a healthy way. He replied with, "No communication is not healthy communication. You apologize to him for awkwardness, but will not apologize to me for the list of reasons above." And he said, "If you cannot handle talking to your brother, then he does not need to live there." I told him that I thought he was being biased because of his bad experience with his sister, and that I still agreed with him and told Matt no for the unified front, but my text was saying I would still like to keep open communication and talk through the frustration on both sides. I mentioned beforehand that I was uncomfortable, and if he wanted it handled a certain way, he should have communicated with him. Even if it was just I'm having a hard time with this, Matt. Give me some time to process. I don't want to talk about this right now, though. He replied with, "Just forget it. Let the resentment build." I said, "Your texts do not seem like you want to have a healthy conversation. You want to be angry. We can talk about it when you are ready to communicate in a healthy way." He replied, "No, I'm done talking." I said, "It is not fine." But by this point, I was feeling myself getting irritated and decided to end the conversation too. I said, "We put so much work into our relationship and working through conflict, and the second something comes up, you throw in the towel and it hurts." To which he replied, "I'm blocking you." By the way, I would never block you from listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever other podcast platform you choose. Just search OK Storytime. And there is more to this story, but
I don't know. This is just a lot.
This is
like,
a lot.
I think. No, what do you think?
I think that was a crazy twist. I'm
Yeah.
blocking you when we're gonna get married.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Like
It just feels like
after
they're all
this?
talking on text. Like,
yeah.
Why is everything through text?
So much conversation in text.
Like, your guys are like engaged.
yeah.
What?
Let's talk about it. Because the thing I kind of agree with is, or the thing I do agree with, is that she is 29. I
Yes.
don't know why she's so anxious talking to her brother.
I don't get that either.
Yeah.
I like, obviously anxiety shows up in different ways and is weird, and
Yeah.
However, I think it is a fair statement for him to say, to be like, "Hey, I need you to, I said no about the dog.
Yeah.
And if he's gonna keep asking about it, then you need to, talk to your brother about that."
Yeah. Like, I could see why it might annoy him that, like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, my fiance can't even talk to her own brother about, like, a conflict, like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, well, that's kind of a long thing to fix. And the
Yeah.
only thing that can really change about that now is, like, maybe getting her into therapy, but that's not gonna, like, it's not gonna change fast enough for this problem to be fixed
No.
by that, So, and then the way he said it too, like, you need to grow up.
It just doesn't feel like they wanted to get married at the end of this.
No, yeah. And the fact that he was like all for communication, it seemed, and then he was like, I'm done I don't want
Yeah.
to argue about this.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to your brother. So
Right.
Who does he want to talk to?
Because that like I don't want to argue thing wasn't in a way of like, I don't need this to blow up into a big thing. Don't need to argue about that. Like, we could just talk about it. It was like, we're not arguing. This is just my
these are my
thoughts, and you need
demands.
to hear it
And
fix
you're
it.
just gonna listen.
But there is a little bit more to this story. Now here I am, almost 30, with a fiance who blocked my texts. I am hurt and feel like I put so much work into therapy and building a love bank so that when conflict happens, we can deal with it together. I feel like it has all been for nothing. I do not know how I can go from working toward building a real life together with the houses and planning a wedding to thinking about ending the relationship of 8 years over my brother asking for a dog. But I know it's bigger than that. It's Andrew's reaction to it and the immaturity that he's showing. I thought he would grow up and start acting mature with all of the therapy work, but now I'm not so sure. And I feel blindsided by being blocked. I'm supposed to be his future wife. I fear if this is how things are now, that it will continue into our marriage and my husband will block me over what feels like minor disagreements. Any advice is appreciated.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like if you're going into couples therapy because something happened in your past, not sure what, but you had the idea and the want for him to grow up and get more mature, and you've been married for a little or engaged for a little over a year, I feel like we should
Yeah.
get to a point where we don't need couples therapy
That's what-
anymore
that's what
before we
my-
get engaged.
Well, that was my point. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, again, sometimes there are people who use it just preventatively, but this
Sure.
doesn't feel like a preventative method. It feels like you
No.
have an actual problem.
Yeah.
Now you were about to get married, which
Yeah.
if you're working through a problem that requires couples counseling, maybe,
Right.
yeah, agreed, not ready to get married,
Not ready to get married.
which you certainly weren't.
My fiance is showing favoritism over our cats, and it's affecting our relationship?
No, love all cats equally.
Yeah. My fiance, 29 female, and I, 27 male, have been together for 3 years now, and I moved in with her about a year and a half ago, and decided that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. I proposed in March 2024, and she said yes. Aw. By the way, this comes from user Poppin' Peanut, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
And I'm a cold Savannah.
I'm a warm Keon. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, unfortunately. We only know what we do, so please let us know what you do in the comments. Pretty please, maybe it'll warm up Savannah.
Yeah, I'd love that.
As OP says, wedding planning has already started. Looking at possible venues, close friends know about the specific date that we're planning to get married in 2026. However, nothing has been set in stone and booked yet. We decided mutually that we would get a cat as a companion for us. Mainly for me because I was lonely at home when it was just myself. However, she has always loved cats too, and she also really wanted one. We originally were wanting to get a dog. However, due to our work schedules, we came to a conclusion that having a dog was going to be too much responsibility, and we wouldn't be able to take care of the dog given our current schedules. I work essentially a 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. job 5 days a week, and my fiance working 6 days a week at a family restaurant, often working from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Dang, what do you guys do in your free time? Sleep?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've always had animals growing up when I was living with my parents. My first pet was a dog, and then a cat, and then currently dog again. I will refer to the first cat we had as number 1, and our second cat as number 2.
I read that as no one.
No 1, no 2. While we were dating, we visited local cat cafes a few times, and based on her behavior toward the cats, I believe that she really did like cats, and she did confirm that she did enjoy playing with them. Fast forward to getting our first cat, she was extremely gung-ho about it and was excited during our car ride there to meet the litter. 2 kittens left, both 7 weeks old at the time. I ended up letting her choose which kitten she wanted to bring home, and we ended up taking him, again, his name is going to be number 1, home with us the same day. I was like, number 1's going to be called Pee-Pee, and number 2's going to be called Caca.
Wait, that's good. We should do that.
Yeah. I'm now referring to the cat's names as number 1 is Pee-Pee, and the number 2 is Caca.
Pee pee poo poo.
Yes, I'm here to give good advice goofily. So we ended up taking Pee-Pee home with us the same day. This is gonna be so fun. All has been well with our first cat, now 10 months old. Recently, about 3 months ago, we had a short and vague talk about how our current cat seemed to be lonely at home by himself while we were away at work, and we both had the idea of maybe getting a second cat so that he could have a companion as well. One day during work, I received a text from my fiance showing me a listing to a possible fit to be our second cat. I was not expecting this at all due to our talk being brief, and although it was sprung up on me, I was never against the idea. My fiance had asked if I could go view this cat. It's a year and 3 months, and see if he would be a good fit for our home. So I went to visit the cat after work by myself. With my fiance being at work and unable to be there for the visit, I was tasked with deciding whether or not he would be the right fit. After having the interaction upon meeting the cat, I gave my fiance a phone call and explained that he would be a great cat. Except, he would be a lot more work compared to our first cat. Okay? I explained that this cat is extremely shy. However, he's non-aggressive even when he's in fear, and that he may really be hard to groom. Wipe down eye boogers, nail trimming, maybe bathe if required. He's just a little shy guy.
Aw.
After knowing about all these things, my fiance had said, I trust you. If you feel like he's going to be a good cat, then I'm okay with it, and I'll leave it up to you. Oh, I think that's going to come back to bite you on the butt.
Yeah.
So, in the end, I ended up bringing him home. So, when my fiance came home from work and saw poo-poo for the first time...
Yes.
Yes, this would be really great. She showed the same type of love and excitement towards him, and she did with Pee-Pee. However, now, 3 months later, she's starting to hate and despise Poo-Poo.
Aww.
I hate this. This is so
I
funny.
love this.
For context, both our cats get along great. Our second cat just recently started to groom his brother, and they like to play wrestle and run around the house together. In the past week, we've had 3 fights in regards to Poo-Poo's behavior. Poo-Poo has ruined things before in the past. What a little piece of poo.
What? Living up to his name.
Yeah. However, as a previous cat owner, I can assure you that he's been quite well behaved. He scratched the anti-fatigue foam kitchen mat, and he took chunks out of the foam. He scratched the couch, very minimal, as we started applying sticky paws, and has been less interested and started using his scratching post a lot more frequently. Most recently, he climbed up to the counter and chewed up one of my fiance's plants, and one of the new growing leaves was taken off from the main stem. Thankfully, the plant was non-toxic. Good. My fiancé has completely lost all tolerance towards Poo-Poo due to the plant incident being her breaking point of him ruining her things. This is just a part of having, like, kittens and puppies and young things running around.
It's true. You get like, they have to like learn, and obviously you can find ways around it, like putting up, like gates, or, like having them like sit in like one room only or whatever, like limiting, their access to everything. So, and that's with kids as well. Like,
That's why I said living things. That's why I said living things. Like kids,
Yeah.
pets, whatever, what have you. This is a learning situation for both you as a parent or an owner of a cat, of a pet, or what have you, and for them. It's a learning situation for them to not do that again, and for you to be like, maybe I should, not leave the plants out, or like maybe I shouldn't have food on the counter or something like that.
Yeah, this is a test.
Yeah.
As it always is.
It's become so bad that we've started arguing over Poo-Poo, and that she has brought up hating him and despising him.
What?
Aw. She said, when I come home from work and see his face, I can't stand it.
What?
I hate him, and I hate what he does, and he's ruining everything. Pee-Pee does not do any of this. Why is he so well behaved and Poo-Poo is not? What is Poo-Poo going to ruin next? I'm miserable. I've tried to reason with her and tell her that our first cat also has pros and cons. Our first cat still scratches the ledges off the walls, and also did before in the past. Scratch our dining chairs and couch. It's to a minimum now. I've tried to explain from a pet owner's point of view that there are some things that are out of our control, and that some behaviors can't be corrected right away, and it may take a few attempts, and even then you can't guarantee that they will stop doing those things. She's admitted that she regrets getting him, and that she realizes that having pets and requiring to take care of them is a lot different than just playing with them and enjoying being around them. I wish she came to this realization before we got Poo-Poo. My fiancé is definitely still on the honeymoon phase with our first cat, and has even admitted that, at least with our first cat, we got him as a kitten, so at least she feels somewhat attached to him rather than our second cat, which she despises and has no love for. She's insisted that we would get rid of Poo-Poo. No, don't get rid of that Poo-Poo. And that there will be no other solution unless he behaves. She's giving him one last chance. However, if he ruins anything else, then that will be the final straw. Deep down inside, I know that Poo-Poo will be curious about something and will end up ruining her things again. It's just a matter of time. During our fights, she has stated that I keep on deflecting what Poo-Poo does and comparing it to what Pee-Pee has done in the past. I've told her multiple times that I'm simply telling her about how they both have pros and cons, and how we can also teach Poo-Poo with the methods we did with Pee-Pee. Again, I have tried telling her that some behavior may or may not be corrected, and even if it does, it may take multiple times before it can be corrected. She's brought in our last fight about how maybe I'm not the right person for you, and maybe it's best that you find someone else in your life that loves animals the way you do. You see them as family. I don't. They're just pets to me. Maybe you need to reconsider. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, what?
That's grosser than Pee-Pee and Poo-Poo.
It's true. Like, giving... No, I don't even know if that would be considered, like, an ultimatum. It would more so just be, like, a threat. Like, of, like, I guess you need to find someone else. Like, just, like, giving... Even though it's their issue that they have, but you're making it...
This is also the same thing with kids. Like, you
Yep.
take her to, like, a park, and she sees kids, and she's like, oh my god, kids are so great. And then just the type of person where she's like, she's gonna have a kid, and maybe she's attached to it, or attached to your children, sure. But then she's like, The first one was so much better than the second one, and like the second one just like it just cries and doesn't stop. Like this is what I didn't picture at the park.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that mentality where like, yeah, at the cat cafe, they were the best. I loved the cats there. They were like well behaved. They weren't, scratching at things. This girl needs a grip on reality.
Yeah, it just seems like she very much doesn't want to do the work and is just like, oh, I liked this one. Why can't this one be like, our first one that we got? But the thing is, everyone's different. Like, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to have a duplicate of, the same cat or even the same child or the same of anything because everyone's different.
I love her still, and she's helped me grow into the person I've become now. So many things were achieved because she was by my side. I've mentioned twice about perhaps we should go to couples therapy, and her reply was, "We already spend enough money on things and you know what it is," referring to poo-poo. I'm at the crossroad and both roads are looking like it's past away ends. Is it time to take what she said to me to heart and reconsider? If I were to give poo-poo away, I could possibly ask my parents to take him in. That means I can still see him from time to time. However, Pee-Pee would probably be depressed and lonely, and so would I. And by the way, you'll never be lonely because you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to your favorite podcast app such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. You have at least 3 months worth, so we'll be right there with you. You'll never be lonely. There's a little bit left here. I don't know, man. The fact that she just keeps resorting to the common denominator as like this cat is all, is ruining everything. And she's using that as an excuse. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. And plus, like, now the cats have kind of bonded. So, like, if you were to take one away, then...
They're both going to be depressed cats, but I don't think she cares. She has clearly stated she hates this cat. She's like, I see its face, don't care. She hates that cat for being a cat. Let's go ahead and finish up the story. I think if she's really being this stubborn about your second cat, you can try to, have your second cat at your parents. But what if I think she's just considering favoritism and it's just not right. But who knows, man? Hopefully it does get better. The couples therapy thing, the fact that she's like, no, I don't want couples therapy. I think there's another underlying thing going on. And I would ask you, like, hey, what's really going on? Because this all really can't be stemming from the second cat. So.
Yeah, I'd agree. Maybe there's something else like happening and that's just like something, out of their control that they can, just blame it on rather than like actually trying to work things out and doing all the hard work.
Exactly. Opie says, I also can't guarantee that she will forever be on the honeymoon phase with Pee-Pee. He may end up getting hated and despised in the future, although she currently says that at least with Pee-Pee, we had him since he was a kitten and has some sort of emotional attachment and feeling towards. I'm at a loss and don't know what to do. Has anybody ever gone through something similar? And what did you do? Thanks. And there is no comments. That is the end of that story. So you got to try and do a compromise, especially since you guys are trying to make this work. I feel like, hey, you can be like, hey, we can try and have, Poo-Poo trained and see what can be done. It's going to take some time. I can maybe leave him at my parents, but our first cat's not going to be very happy. Maybe I'll give you some space and some sanity, and see if that works. I highly suggest couples therapy too. See if what's going on there. The fact that you tried to communicate with her and say you can't blame it all on the cat. It's a learning situation. This is about having pets. This is how pets are, and she just is fully closed about it. I don't know. I feel like there's more to it.
My fiance's parents criticized everything about me, and he says nothing.
Someone's being a critical Kathy.
I'm 21 male, and my fiance, 20 male, are in a tedious situation. Here's some background info. By the way, this comes from Human Confidence 1632, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, me and my fiance met in high school when he was a freshman and I was a sophomore. We started dating after the second year of knowing each other, going into the vid. He had asked me out and confessed his feelings for me on Instagram. Since then, it's been rocky. Not because we fell out of love, but because his parents have been stepping in. I have been trying to bond with his parents more, but only recently. Most of the time we communicate is via texting on Facebook or regular messages, and at first they were pretty short and vague towards me. They gave short answer responses that didn't seem impressed or interested in communicating. I had asked his mom about it, and she said she just doesn't get involved with her children's relationships, which I found interesting. A year into our relationship with his parents not knowing, my fiancé invited me to attend our state fair. It opens in the summer and runs through early fall. We went with his mom, his little brother, and his little brother's 2 friends. We had lots of fun, went on rides, ate food together, even kissed at the Ferris wheel at the very top.
Oh, how romantic.
But it all came crashing down when we had to get back to the group. I had held his hand on our way off the Ferris wheel, and his mother saw and pulled him over and was berating him. To this day, he does not remember her exact words, just that she didn't want me with him. They ditched me at the fair by going to the speedway, and I couldn't go with. Mind you, I was left behind by myself with no way to get home with a bunch of strangers who could easily have kidnapped me or worse. I had to ask someone's permission to use their phone and call my mom while still bawling my eyes out. She picked me up and I got home. I told my mom everything and she was immediately disgusted by the action his mother had taken. I just don't understand why this mom would be fine with her son bringing OP as like a friend to the, fair.
And then abandoning you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like also, I don't want to get involved with my
Yeah.
son's relationships. A year later, you guys, and also, why does it have to be secret?
I don't
What's
know.
going on with the boyfriend that they can't tell his mom?
I don't know. I was not able to contact him for months. He reached out after getting his phone and apologized, and I told him it wasn't his fault. We returned to a relationship again in secret. Why is his mom so against this? Fast forward another year, and his mom finds out and takes his phone so he can't contact me. So what does my fiancé do? He walks almost
Fiancé.
Fiancé now. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the first time that was mentioned.
Yeah. Look at you guys go. My mom offered to have my fiancé stay the night and take him back in the morning, but she had called his mom in advance. She obviously was against this and told my fiancé to get a ride home now. My brother was there, so luckily it worked out and he got home. But he was not able to contact me for another few months. He reached out again and we were around 19 and 18 at this time. Wow. I had moved to a town nearby to escape my biological family who were awful to me. I lived with my older sibling and their then husband and the husband's father. My fiancé had told me he was in a manipulative and toxic relationship with someone and needed advice. Interesting move to ask your ex for advice.
Yeah.
I told him that I wouldn't stand for the behavior and that he should leave the person for his own safety and find someone who appreciated him, which I genuinely meant. He ended up leaving him and yet again asked me out. I said yes. Okay, he's like, hey, can you help me get out of this relationship because I want to date you? Nope, he's like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
When we got back together the next year made me 20 and him 19. We decided for the summer we would go to the state fair. No, the state fair.
Not the state fair.
Only bad things happen at the
Not
state
again.
fair.
If this
Oh.
ends at the speedway.
Yeah. All things end, all roads lead to the speedway.
All roads lead to the speedway.
Because there's not much else to do in my town besides burger joints and parks. We found a cute custom ring vendor where we got our engagement bands. They had the ring of the opposing person on their finger. Fast forward to November to December 2024. My fiance confessed to his parents that he was dating me, not engaged. They were less strict about it and invited me over for dinner not too long after. I accepted, but they didn't talk to me much. They just sat on the couch, watching TV, while my fiance and I ate burgers at the table, laughing amongst ourselves. Okay, so it seems like now they have somewhat come to terms with this.
It sounds like they're starting to round the corner
Yeah.
on it.
Which is good.
It sounds like there's still maybe some work to do
Yeah.
on their point, but hey, you're eating with them. You're
I
breaking
mean, yeah,
bread.
they're not abandoning you at the fair.
Yeah.
So that's an improvement.
Yes.
In late February 2025, I was forced to move out of the place I had been and went back to my hometown. I stayed at a childhood best friend's house and worked a retail job to pay for rent and food. I've been here ever since. Now we're at the apartment situation. I placed a worm in my fiance's brain, telling him, I want to get our own place together. We have been dating for 4 years, are engaged, and we want to build a life together. He agreed, and we started looking at apartments. It just so happened that the same childhood friend's house I had been staying at was looking for a new apartment roommate. The house I am at is their mother's. The roommate was moving out, and they needed another person or persons. My fiancé and I happily went over and discussed rent, utilities, animals, bedroom size, rules, expectations, chores, and boundaries between mid-October and now. We were convinced it would be perfect since all the people in the apartment were people we had known since high school. It was close to both my and my fiancé's jobs, and it was a very quaint and quiet area with safety features and good experiences from previous tenants. My fiancé and I were pleased with everything, and I started packing right away and signing the application form with him. My fiancé told his parents about his interest in moving out, which they were very unhappy about. They scolded him, telling him he isn't responsible or mature enough to be moving out and needed to stay.
Ugh.
My fiancé has some mental issues that he needs to see a psychiatrist for, which he said he's willing to do. He often has trouble understanding what people say and needs to hear it again for it to click and may ask them to repeat themselves. Is that just like auditory processing, or does he have like actual hearing issues?
Yeah.
He also blanks for minutes trying to think of answers to questions from people and gets frustrated himself when he can't answer. He also has poor time management, which makes him late to his job, which his parents own. It does sound like he has ADHD.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like maybe a more severe ADHD, but it does sound like ADHD.
Mm.
By the way, it sounds like you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, it sucks that you gotta work with this family.
Yeah.
That it sounds like you might be working with some phobia, but
Mhm.
it sounds like things are moving forward in a good direction.
Yeah. It seems like his parents have always been kind of controlling. But I think you can't really, go talk back to his parents, but you can support him and encourage him and say, hey, I know your parents are saying that you're not ready, but I believe in you. I think that you are.
Yeah. And I also wonder if it's like the parents feel like they're caretakers
Mhm.
sort of thing.
Especially
and
if he has kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and like they feel like caretakers, and then letting go of that caretaking, if they might be nervous about that. So maybe it might be a scary conversation that I
Yeah.
don't know if they want to have or not. But just like, hey, like, what are you guys worried about? How can I take over this caretaker role
Yeah.
if that's a thing?
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
even having your boyfriend say, or your fiance now, talk to his parents and say, I recognize that you just care about me. You just want to keep me safe. But I am taking these steps to ensure that I don't have any issues, or that I know how to handle those issues when they arise when I'm living on my own.
Yeah.
Or with my partner now.
I think that's great.
His mother told me that she worries that the people we would be living with will eventually be impatient and upset with his behavior. However, our friends in the apartment have stated they will gladly help him mature and grow up with them and offer him the tools he needs to grow. Should I risk his parents' relationship with me by moving into the apartment with him, or should we wait until the unlikely chance we get another opportunity like this? I think go for it. I think his parents are only going to start believing in him and understanding that he is an adult capable of caring for himself when he does it.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, just like show them like, yeah, we're here. We're gonna take care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You got it.
You got this.
My father chose his fiance over me, even though I'm having a surgery.
Well, that's tough.
I, 17 female, have had a rocky relationship with my dad. My parents married after I was born, hoping to provide a stable family for me, but they divorced when I was 11 after my dad went to rehab and things only worsened from there. By the way, this comes from Normal Redditor, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. During rehab, he met his current fiance, and they later had a kid, 6 female. Since then, my dad has been mostly absent from my life. Whenever I have important events, he either has an excuse or doesn't show. I'd estimate he's been present for less than half of my events since their divorce. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, and initially surgery wasn't needed. However, my condition got worse, and I was finally scheduled for surgery on November 20th of this year. I told my dad about it months ago, expressing how much I needed his support this time, and he promised he'd be there. But later, he texted to say he planned a vacation that would keep him away until mid-December, just as my recovery period would be ending. It broke my heart, but I accepted it. Then 2 hurricanes hit his vacation spot, and he told me he'd make my surgery. I felt a glimmer of hope. But then, just a week before my surgery, he texted again saying his fiance's lung cancer surgery had been scheduled for the same day, a few hours before mine, at a hospital 30 minutes away. He said he might not make it to my surgery, but with him, might not usually means won't.
Dang, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
terrible.
really tough situation.
Yeah.
Double surgery.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like you're
Yikes.
going through this really scary thing.
Yeah. He added this wasn't about who he loved more.
It is. It is.
And she's like, I wasn't even thinking that, Dad.
Yeah. He's
"Well,
like, it's not about if I love your stepmother more than you,
I just hate your scoliosis.
because I do, and I don't like you. But I also didn't want to come anyway.
It's the I don't care that you broke your elbow, but
Yeah.
I don't care that you have scoliosis. That message shattered me. I realized that no matter how much I hoped, he might never give me the attention and support I needed. I broke down on my kitchen floor that day. After sitting with my feelings, I texted him to tell him how deeply his actions hurt me. I said it wasn't only about love, but about showing care, and that he'd given me hope only to let me down again. I questioned if his fiance's surgery had really been scheduled last minute, or if he had known earlier but hadn't told me. I asked him to show he was my dad through his actions, not just his words. He responded, insisting the surgery was only scheduled the day he'd told me. But because he's lied in the past to save face, I reached out to someone who might know the truth. I then sent a follow-up message, clarifying that my frustration wasn't with his fiancé, it was with his ongoing absence and lack of support. I said that even if his reasons were genuine, he could have at least shown some empathy. I told him I'd hoped he'd be a better father for my half-sister than he's been for me. In my final message, I made it clear that I was done putting in all the effort to maintain our relationship on my own. I told him that if he wanted to be my dad, I would gladly be his daughter, but if he had to choose not to, I would be fine with that too. He hasn't responded, and honestly, I'd prefer he sit with what I've said. For once, I hope he really thinks about his actions and the impact they've had on me. Am I the a-hole?
Not at all.
No,
Not
not
at
at all.
all.
He's told you for a while now that
Yeah.
he'd be there, and he's just dipping.
He's just dipping every time.
every time.
Like, what has he been there for? At that
I-
point,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, just at that point, you have to let him fix the relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything's on you to do.
I hope you can find someone else for your surgery, though.
Yeah.
That worries me. We have some comments. Commenter 1. Girl, your father hasn't shown up for you your entire life. What makes you think he's gonna do it now? And furthermore, why do you allow him to have that power over you? He is not your father. He is the male who impregnated your mother. Stop elevating him to father status. This man is going to support the person who he is making his life with, not the child he walked away from years ago. He doesn't prioritize you, and he never will, no matter what words he uses or promises that he makes. Good luck with your surgery and focus on your recovery.
A little bit of tough.
That was rough, but I
Ooh.
don't disagree.
I don't disagree. A little bit of tough love, perhaps.
Yeesh.
Well, maybe too tough.
Update. I've been dragging my feet on an update, but here it is. Surgery recovery has been great.
Yay!
I've been in therapy since 12, so my therapist knows everything about my dad. Can I just say it's weird seeing my story posted on other apps with Subway surfers and woodworking?
Don't worry, no
We don't
Subway
do that
surfers
here.
Love that people think my dad is a baby juice donor and not a dad across all platforms. Senior night is on Valentine's Day, which I've told him weeks in advance, saying games start at 7, usually, but I would get to the school 30 minutes early since we will probably do it before the game. I texted his mom, Mima, to ask him if he was going, and he texted her, "Oh, I never got a date. She doesn't tell me anything." BS. I told her I'll go no contact if he doesn't go, and I will go low contact if he does go. If he wants to know, he can effing ask and write it on his calendar. I told my mom to stop saying neutral and tell me why he acts like this. The relationship is almost ruined, so there is no point in her trying to save it. He likes to play victim, try to make it sound like my mom doesn't want him around, and uses it as an excuse to make himself look like a good guy. I've seen text messages from when I was younger of my mom trying to get my dad to make an effort. I showed her the first post, so I'll send her this one too. Hi mom, the Kindle had screenshots of some combos. I love you. I saw them in August when I found it, so I knew for a while. I see my mom in a new light now. She will be walking me down the aisle and my first dance. She sacrificed so much of herself for me. She is not only my mom, but my dad. For non-Americans, senior night is usually involves seniors and chosen people to walk them across the floor. My dad walked me down for my fall senior night, but he will not be one of my people this Friday. I am desperate to keep contact with my sister. I know Meemaw will help with that. And by the way, I will help with you guys knowing that there's more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, search up OK Storytime. There's just a little bit more.
I just think that it's good that you're realizing, your mom is the one who's been there for you, and this person in your life has not been.
Yeah.
Which is a hard realization. I think it will benefit you in the long run
Yeah.
that you have realized it.
I would agree to that low or no contact will
Yeah.
be very
Yeah.
helpful to you. Friday came and passed. My dad got mad when he realized I didn't want him to walk me across the gym floor. He, along with Mima and my sister, left during halftime. We did the walk before the varsity game, and the pep rally band can't leave the stands until 3rd. Same as marching band. Plus, Mima has been to previous basketball games along with football game. I left Dad a long voicemail message Friday for leaving, especially since my sister begged to see me and he refused her. I told Mima I was disappointed that she left when she knew what happens at games. Monday, I finally sent him boundaries and blocked him. I know I'm going to cry later. This is going to be hard for me. Thanks for your support. It means a lot to me throughout this journey, and that is the end of that story.
There you go.
Well.
Well.
Good for you, Opie.
Good for you.
Cry
You
it
did
out.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little cry is needed.
be with your mom.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law and his fiance are always late, and now it ruined my wedding.
Well, you better set those clocks early because you know you're always late, baby.
Oh, my hubby, 38 males family, is Filipino, and my 37 female family is Korean, and hubby's brother, 40 male, let's call him John, his fiance, 30 female, let's call her Jane, is Chinese. For context, we are both the third child in our families, and the problem started with his brother and his fiance. By the way, this comes from Drinking Tea Is All, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So OP says, my family didn't accept my husband right away because he wasn't Korean. My parents wanted a Korean son-in-law, so for a couple of years, they had to grow to accept my husband and his family, understanding that he treats me right and makes me happy. When he asked for their blessing privately in our 3rd year together, they happily accepted and gave him the approval. We are almost in our 5th year together, and now we are married. When we got engaged in December 2023, we pretty much announced it right away during our Christmas gathering. We wanted to have an engagement party, but we had to do it soon because 2 women in my bridal party announced their pregnancies by March 2024. My future in-laws told us that they would be out of the country in May 2024, so we had our engagement party in June 2024. When we sent out our engagement party invitations to everyone, John reached out to us that his girlfriend Jane wouldn't be joining us. We said that would be fine, as we were sending invitations to get head counts and share that info with the venue coordinator for estimated pricing. When our engagement party happened in June 2024, we had all the head counts except for John and Jane. John called during our engagement party to ask if Jane could bring her friend. We told him it would be an extra cost, but since it was only one person, it was okay. When they arrived, they came without her friend, costing us an extra $75 for the 4-hour event, and they were nearly 2 hours late. From that point on, that was how things started with us. We knew they were always late. I guess we brushed it off, thinking it wouldn't hurt our relationship with them. Jane would show up really late or just nonchalantly laugh it off. John, being my husband's best man, was supposed to plan the bachelor's party. My husband had about 10 guys going, all married with kids, so they had to plan ahead. Most of their kids were 10 or younger, so the sooner they planned, the better it was. Then John gave all the details only a few weeks before the trip. Some of the guys had to back out, and plane tickets doubled for those who could still go. I noticed John stopped keeping things on track and wasn't in contact unless contacted during our entire wedding preparation. Fast forward to now. We just had a wedding on Halloween, fun, and unsurprisingly, we had issues with John. At this point, John and Jane are engaged. We had a Friday wedding and had to set up and rehearse on Thursday. John called Wednesday night asking if we would need the truck. We said yes for our arch, for 2 flower stands and centerpieces. We thought he was confirming his task. Unbeknownst to us, this would start the family drama.
And so it begins.
So it begins. John and 3 other guys showed up to pick up decorations and help us set up at the venue before the rehearsal. We loaded the arch and all centerpieces into his car. I was a little nervous because over the last 3 years, his brother and fiance had been showing up later and later to every event. I expressed concern to my husband. He suggested giving John a chance, believing he wouldn't be late for this. Everyone arrived at the venue on time except for his brother. He did not show up with the main decorations before the rehearsal, during the rehearsal, or for the first 2 hours of the rehearsal dinner. We had planned to set up that day because the actual wedding day schedule was very tight. I panicked, wanting to see how everything would look. We called hospitals, police stations, and looked up news reports, fearing a car accident or injury happened. Neither John nor Jane answered calls or texts. There was complete silence until they showed up literally 2 hours late for the rehearsal dinner. When he arrived with Jane, he said that they had argued, which caused the delay. Everyone at the rehearsal dinner disapproved for his reason for being a no-show for setup, rehearsal, and being late for dinner. Their delay affected our major wedding plans. They could have picked any day, but chose that Thursday. John was also my husband's best man, making this completely unacceptable. My family felt his actions greatly damaged their relationship with John. I felt his actions damaged the relationship my parents had worked hard to build with his family. My parents reassured me that they still supported my husband, but confirmed that they wanted to limit interactions with John and Jane, as respect and basic manners were evidently optional for them. I cried at the rehearsal dinner, explaining that his brother was hurting our relationships. One of my relatives flew 13 hours to attend our wedding. I could not believe the wedding was slowly becoming about them rather than us. My family ended up leaving early because they did not want to stay longer. After crying in front of my husband's friends and family, I left without saying goodbye.
Honestly,
That
though,
sucks.
your family is also like responsible in just like not being able to like suck it up for a single like event. Just like
Yeah.
whatever. You don't like them? That's fine. Play nice. It's my
Yeah.
wedding.
On the wedding day, while getting ready, John was remorseful and apologized to me and my parents. Jane did not reach out or acknowledge what happened. My husband and the wedding party finished set up with the coordinator, including John. During the wedding, Jane did not attend the 5-hour ceremony, but arrived 15 minutes before closing. Everyone in the wedding party was displeased and disappointed, including close families and relatives. I was upset and angry and walked away from them. I could not believe it. Despite all this, my husband and I had a great time. Before the after party, my husband spoke to his brother, asking if he was ready to deal with this for the rest of his life. Many people said John was with the wrong girl, but we did not tell him that. We agreed that we needed an apology from Jane. It became clear that John struggled with her behavior, and the issues stemmed from him trying to get Jane more involved. Things worsened after their engagement. On the wedding night, we didn't spend time together. My husband dealt with another sibling's PTSD moments caused by excessive booze.
No.
My best friend and I stayed with his daughter and went to bed around 3 a.m. After returning home, we argued almost immediately. Messages flooded in about how unhappy people were with John. We couldn't get a break. My father-in-law posted multiple photos, all featuring John and Jane. My family was furious and said our presence was practically non-existent to his family. Additionally, my father-in-law posted John's birthday using our wedding video. It featured John and Jane dancing during the last 15 minutes. This fueled further issues. My sister asked if they understood basic etiquette, given the misunderstandings that John and Jane caused during a milestone in our lives. We spoke to my maid of honor, who said she sat with her boyfriend, groomsman, and the other best man. They discussed making John and Jane leave the after party because of their disrespect. Jane's behavior caused waves of problems among friends and family, and the wedding cost us most of our savings. My parents requested a dinner with us the following weekend. My husband apologized again on behalf of John and promised to assess the situation. My parents expressed their love and support for us and wished the best for John. They requested my father-in-law remove photos of John from our wedding. Since Jane had not apologized, my husband agreed. The next day, my father-in-law reluctantly removed the photos and John's birthday message using our wedding background. We visited my in-laws to acknowledge their celebration while explaining that wedding misunderstandings caused further issues. I told them John is 40 and Jane is 30. Both know adult responsibilities. Their actions did not represent our families during the wedding. We have not heard from Jane, and for now, we want time alone. And for now and for always, I want you to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever favorite podcast app you choose. Just search OK Storytime. We have enough stories for you to listen to forever.
Literally forever.
Literally forever.
For all
because
eternity.
As you're listening to the stories that already exist, we're making new ones. So listen.
We're like the termite queen of Reddit stories.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just always laying eggs.
Exactly.
Full of stories.
Yep.
Story eggs.
That's us. We're giving her until the end of November to reach out. After that, as long as they remain together, I do not want a relationship with Jane. We are doing well now, looking at Polaroids until our professional photos arrive, and hanging out with friends. We agreed to focus on ourselves and start planning our honeymoon. As of now, we have not heard from either of them, and I honestly don't care. I just wanted to share this somewhere. I know my drama is small compared to others, but it was stressful. I feel for people who have gone through worse. If you made it to the end, thank you for reading. You're so welcome. And happy holidays, everyone. And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, you and your husband made a huge mistake by putting any trust in your brother and sister-in-law. You knew they were unreliable. They proved it with the engagement party, and you still assigned major responsibilities to them for the wedding. That's silly. Opie said, I honestly told my husband that I didn't want his brother to have major tasks, and I did a lot of I told you so's during our arguments. We did a lot of blame games between us, and I realized I didn't want to fight among us when we knew the issue. My husband had trouble setting boundaries, and this was a major lesson learned from him. Now he is voicing his boundaries with his family. I told him no more trusting people when they have patterns like this. He is learning it now. He always tried to give people chances to be better, and he realized weddings wasn't one of those times. That's the end of that story.
It's true. The wedding, you gotta be locked in fully.
Locked in,
You
dude.
need reliability for the wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. If Jane really is the issue, like at first it kind of seemed like it was John and Jane, but then it was like, oh, well, Jane's causing problems in the relationship. It's all her fault. But
Yeah.
it's like, is it really? Or is it just John? I don't know.
I don't know.
I said I hated school, and it made my teacher sister-in-law freak out.
Freak out! Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, dum, bum.
To keep a long ramble short, I hated school. Every second of it. I didn't have any friends, and the few subjects I did like were usually spoiled by the teacher either being too strict or too, let's make sure everyone participates, which, let me just say, ground my introvert gears down to wheels. By the way, this comes from user SoftRecord7569. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon,
I'm Dakota.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. Unfortunately, we only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments, please. As Opie says, so, on to the actual point. My brothers and I were having dinner at Dad's. My second brother's fiancée, let's call her Jill, is studying to be a teacher. We aren't friends, but we are friendly, and she's expressed excitement about teaching children. After dinner, we were all bouncing hypotheticals off of each other for what we would do for money, like you see online. For example, you get $5 million, but once a day, you're dropped into a random part of the ocean for 30 seconds. I was pretty boring with my answers, according to them, and all in good fun. I did claim I'd use the ocean one as an alarm clock every day, which got a laugh, made me chuckle. The next one was, would you go back to school to take grades 1 through 12 all over again? All 12 years. You get a living stipend and $1 million per grade you pass. $1 million for first grade, $2 million for second, etc. So $78 million total after all 12 grades. Everyone said yes. I said nope. Jill pressed me for my reasoning, and I said something like, you cannot pay me to go back to those 12 years of heck. I was being playful and didn't mean any offense. She kept pressing, asking why I thought it was that bad. I didn't want to ruin the mood, so I gave the generic, I hated school and spent each year waiting for summer vacation. I just don't think I could take another 12 years of that. The rest of the evening went fine, but later that night, my brother texted to say that what I had said really upset Jill. She was worried about how she could teach students who might hate her as much as I hated school. He clarified that he knew my feelings were valid, but asked if I could maybe talk to Jill through my experiences at some point, or at least apologize for how I expressed them. I am sorry for upsetting her, but I really don't know how else I could explain myself in that situation without turning the whole thing into a pity party. Am I the a-hole for what I said or how I said it? And we have some comments. No.
No, dude, you're not. She's just like, I don't know. Now she's dealing with like, wait, not every kid likes school. What?
Yeah, it's also stemming from like, I want everyone to like me. I want all my students to like me. Listen, teachers have their favorite students. Students have their favorite teachers. Sometimes, like, even if you're like the coolest teacher in the world and you're teaching the best things, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
They're not gonna, they may not like you. They may not like your teaching method. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's like one of the biggest things with teaching, I'd expect, is that you got to learn how to teach kids who don't care. That's big one.
Yeah, teachers are gonna have class clowns. It happens. I feel like she's really pressing for something that she shouldn't be pressing on.
I don't think you need to apologize for the way you said it, but you could just like explain why you didn't like school so much, and then it really didn't sound like it had anything to do with your teachers.
Yeah, look, you turned out fine. Look at you now.
Yeah.
And we have some comments. Comment number 1. Not the a-hole. She's upset because you didn't like school. If she's that sensitive, she might want to rethink her career.
That's a good point.
Kids are brutal, and they will chew her up and spit her out. Facts.
Well, she'll develop a callus over time, probably.
And there's a reply to this comment. She will need to stick to younger elementary because middle school and high school kids will eat her alive. Kids are brutal. Also, another reply with that. Younger elementary kids have no filter. They'll just destroy you without malice because they can. Comment number 2. Does she actually think every kid is going to love school? If she does, then she's in for a rude awakening. I'm a teacher and have been doing it for 26 years. I knew from day one that's not the case. You did nothing wrong. Comment 3 saying, it doesn't sound like she's upset you said it, just more so that she got a reality check that her students may feel the same way, and she's upset because she thinks some of her students feel that way and she wants to help them. Jill was pushy, but not to the point of causing problems. No one ruined the evening. Your brother is the only one overreacting, in my opinion. It sounds like Jill was just venting. And last comment here saying, I think LP could be really helpful with a new teacher. Sit down with her and explain how an introvert feels about mandatory class participation. What could have been so different to make you like school, or at least hate it less? You won't be blaming her for anything, but you would be giving her tools to help another kid from hating school as much as you did. And there's an edit here. Thanks for all the insight. I haven't really had time to reply to anything since I'm still at work, but it has been very helpful. My brother, Jill, and I will be meeting up for coffee after work. Hopefully things will smooth out. And we have an update.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a big deal here. I think your brother's probably just being like, I don't know. Jill was like, Jill was upset. She's talking to me. I don't know what to do. So can you fix it, please?
Yeah, even just like the school thing, it's back to the original step of, oh my gosh, is everyone gonna hate me? Everyone's not gonna like me? Not everyone's gonna like you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just the way of life. Even if you're the perfect person to them and you treat them with 110% respect, They may not just not like you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It happens. Do we have an update? First, thanks again for the support. It means a lot to have so much encouragement, even though I currently believe not the a-hole is more appropriate. On to the conclusion. And to add to that, we're all feeling a little silly. It turns out there were some communication issues. Shocking, I know. Jill, my brother, and I just met for coffee today to clear the air. First, an apology to all of you, since you were so certain I wasn't the a-hole. I completely forgot the detail in the retelling. Uh-oh. Unreliable narrator. Apparently, in clarifying my answer to Jill last night, I did mention having some really obnoxious teachers. Jill misconstrued this as me thinking all teachers are obnoxious, including her. Especially because I had basically just implied I'd rather risk my life in the ocean than go back to school. So she thought I disliked her.
Yeah, it really does just go back to, you don't like me? You don't like me? You think I'm terrible? You don't like me?
That's what I'm saying. But I will like you if you listen to more episodes with stories just like this one. Go to your favorite podcast app, such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and searching up OK Storytime. I'll really like you.
I'll like you forever.
Heck, I might even love you just a little bit.
Love you.
There's a little bit left here. I feel like this was a little bit silly, like you said, but even if this does stem to like, oh no, you don't like me, teachers are all crappy. It's like there are some good teachers, there's some bad teachers. It just happens.
It was a little silly, but it's nothing some good communication can't sort out.
Yeah. Finish up the story here. My brother, bless his stupid little heart, further misconstrued her venting to him as her borrowing grief from the future, which she has done before regarding her future students. He took the initiative and texted me without her knowledge because his first instinct was to help her. We cleared things up. My brother is now on notice. He is not actually in trouble. That's just their sense of humor.
Thank you.
Interesting. Jill is looking forward to becoming part of the family. She took my answer as a tacit rejection of her. Once I actually hashed out my issues from my school days, she completely understood my views. She knows not everyone likes school and was just worried I didn't like her specifically. We're all good. I blame the holiday scramble havoc for none of our brains working. And that is the end of that story.